How's it going, everyone? Sunday night, oh yeah, hangout time. We're a bit earlier than normal, just because there's me and Sam on tonight, and Sam can have an early night. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm all right. I'm a bit ill, to be fair. That's probably, but I'm not going to lie. This is a little bit better. I know it's a bit early for our friends in America, but nine till 11, a nice tidy 2 hours. I'm up for that. I think as soon as we start getting past 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, I'm like, so.
Yeah.
So yeah. So this works for me. And I didn't tell you. Do you remember that? I know we didn't technically
Oh
ever go
yes.
to Route 66, but you
Yeah.
were with me when I bought that. We bought that in LA. I bought that, I think, in LAX.
Yes.
Was it the theme park? Was it the fun fair we were at on the pier?
No, it was the airport because we got the magnets.
Yes, we did. You did. Yes. That was we
Yeah.
were just. That's when we were last minute buying souvenirs for our other halves, wasn't it?
Love it. That's a bit sidetracked from the intro, but here we go.
This is the hardcore legend, Mick Foley. Well, hello and welcome to Give Me a Oh Yeah. I hope everyone there, right there in Yorkshire, is having a nice day. Bang, bang. Have a nice day. Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
We're doing. No, you're okay. Give you a chance to sort of blow your nose and cough and splutter if you needed to. So we've got a bit of a schedule for tonight. We've got a few different things that we're going to chat about. We've got Wrestle Crate unboxing. I've got that sat at the side of me from Pro Wrestling Tees. We've got NXT No Mercy discussions from last night. A couple of little bits to go through with that. And the big one later on tonight, and we'll be covering it, AEW Wrestle Dream. We've got a few match predictions. We're going to have a little bit of chat about a few of them. We'll probably be having a quiz or something in the middle. And we'll be talking about Impact UK's tour later this month, which is exciting. And we're going to end it with Jade Cargill. What do we think they're going to do with her to start with? So, who have we got in? Have we got anyone in yet? We've probably got someone in. No comments yet,
people. I can see people. People lurking. If you're lurking, feel free to say hello. Lurkers are welcome, but it's also good to say hello as well. I think, Jess, are you lurking? Make yourself known if you're lurking. Because I know she lurks for a bit, but then she gets bored and turns us off. But that's okay.
Oh, there's
Norma.
Hey,
hi, Norma. Oh, just so you know as well, we will be doing, because we're going to make this a regular thing, we're going to make a Dan versus Sam. We're going to have an episode of Dan versus Sam, and it's going to be brutal, savage. It's going to be like every Ant versus Dom that you've ever seen. This is going to eclipse. I promise you that, and I'm not lying at all.
I'm going to do that, and I'm going to flip him off.
Oh, it's gonna, we're probably going to get demonetized, but
100%, 100%. But first things first, we did say we're going to do Pro Wrestling Crate unboxing. First time I'm actually doing it with someone watching, so it's going to be where you can react for me.
I will. I'm an unboxing voyeur. This is great. I actually usually watch your unboxes. I usually watch them in bed naked.
Nice.
And I'm not joking. I honestly
imagine me wearing the t-shirts.
Yeah, just you with your hardcore Hulkamaniac t-shirts and all of that.
Yeah. Sarah's in and Kerda lurking and working. Nice and rhyming. So I always do the same thing. I've got the box right here, opening it up, and I just dig in. First thing first is always the card. So that tells me what it is. But the side that I've got facing me, so I'm going to do that. That's basically who's in next month's crate.
Oh, awesome! So that keeps you paying for it. Keeps you coming back. Oh, that's smart. That Pro Wrestling Tees. That's smart.
So next month's is Masks and Paint. So we've got Sting, obviously, El Generico, Darby Allin, Gangrel, Danhausen, Zodiac, and the Lucha Bros. What a lineup that could be.
I'm into that. Speaking of paint, face paint, I was walking my dogs the other day, and there's a load of kids playing in the street, and they had thrown a load of dolls and toys in the middle of the street, and amongst them, and it couldn't have been anything else. Was a little doll, a little figurine of Vampiro, like WCW, like year 2000
Old
Vampiro.
school.
And I was
Old
like,
school.
where the hell did that come from? Like,
Yeah.
I was tempted to take my phone out and just snap a quick picture of it, but I thought that might be a bit weird. These are kids'
Bit
toys, the kids.
creepy.
Yeah, so I thought I won't do that. But I remember just being blown away by it. I just like, and that's in the village I live in as well. So yeah, you know.
Yeah.
There you go. Fun fact.
Yeah, very. So first thing, t-shirt, always on the top of the pile. And we always like to sort of try and have a bit of a fun guess based on what we can see. So that's all we can see. So it could be Ron Simmons, it could be the word iron. So there could be a few different things on that. What are you thinking, Sam?
I'm thinking Iron Shake, or I'm thinking
Iron
Bron
Shake?
Breaker. Iron Shake or
Yeah.
Bron
That's a good
Breaker.
shout.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who else? It could be Ron. It could be Ron.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're my three. I think they're the three that I'm. What the Iron is?
So that.
It could be
We've got-
Eddie Iron Shake. It's Iron
Iron
Shake.
Shake. Very, very nice. Legends live forever.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And we lost him a month or two ago, didn't we? Of course.
Nice memorial sort of t-shirt type thing for him.
Yeah, it's nice that.
And it's the good thing is it's not a plain black t-shirt, which is quite common for merchandise for bands and wrestling and stuff like that. So it's nice to actually have something a bit different. At the minute, I've got my Swiss made Claudio one on.
Love it.
Out of last month's crate. Absolutely brilliant. Yep, I agree, Nomar. Really nice colours. Oh, sorry.
Misfits in. Hi, Misfit.
Wrestle PD. They're very nice. If you haven't already, go check out Misfit. There may be opportunities where we get Misfit on at some point in the future. We have talked about, well, me and Ant have talked about bringing Misfit on every so often just to see how sort of people interact. So maybe new faces coming soon. Second t-shirt, I always put to the side just because I want to keep one t-shirt at the start, one at the end. So we've got our little micro brawler. Who do we think? You'll never guess.
Probably not. Let's have a look. I don't own any micro brawlers, I don't think.
Berserker.
Oh, right, of course.
I just hold it there. Cute little guy. Again, so much detail on the outfit and the face.
I like it.
They're
quite
so cute. They're so cool.
I wouldn't even know that was a wrestler if you hadn't told me it was the Berserker.
No,
I think it was.
I just think
it was a little Viking.
Vikings.
Yeah.
Misfit had to make a new Twitter name to ban him for some reason. Go follow him. Go support him.
Were you fighting with somebody, Misfit? Were you fight? I've seen your Twitter, mate.
Let's have a look.
You're a scrapper. You're a scrapper, baby.
It's always best way to be.
Although I was shit posting somebody. I mean, poo posting somebody on Facebook earlier.
Demonetized already for us.
Mm-hmm. I think that we can get away with the occasional S. It's when we start F and C is when they start coming for us.
We got a little sticker, which I've covered the back of the laptop with them, which is super cute, super adorable. It's Britt Baker.
Is it really? I was thinking it was like Natalia or something, or she's almost got like.
You've got the sort of symbol just on around the neck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That she has on her logo. Absolutely adorable little sticker.
Where are you going to put it?
I'm going to stick it on the back of the laptop, like I've put the most of my other stickers that I've got recently.
Oh yeah, I couldn't tell the difference between your leg and your computer. I didn't know where your leg stopped and the computer began because he's got tattoos on his leg. I was like, well, I can't tell where he's like a Necron. He's part man, part machine. Actually, no, Necrons are all just machine, aren't they? That's a 40k reference, by the way.
I'm part man, part ink.
There you go. Yes, that's it. You're a squid.
Yeah. Misfit was scrolling through Twitter, checking out what happened on Collision while watching No Mercy and then banned. That seems a bit unusual. So We've got Osama Shahid in. Thoughts on Christian Cage doing some great work as the heel in AEW. We're going to hold off on that question, mainly because we're going to speak about it shortly. One of our other segments, I'm going to save that one, and we're going to come back to that one, Osama. So keep your head in. We will get to that one. Don't panic about that.
Because it's a good question, that. Lots to say on that.
Yes. Misfit saying if you start using Bing Image Creator, you end up getting amazing random AI images, like Triple H promoting Coca-Cola.
Always Coca. I opened the fridge before, Dan, to drink our last can of Coke, and Jess had taken it for work. Furious, quite frankly. Furious. So,
I mean, if I do that, we've got the caffeine-free stuff in at the minute.
Makes sense to have at bedtime. I could do one of that.
Yeah. Bit of logic from me, which is a rarity.
I'll drink the Coke Zero stuff because too much sugar makes it's super bad for you. But yeah, I might do that because I don't normally have decaf anything. I'd rather at night I'll just have like a chamomile tea, which you've actually seen me do multiple times.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
you and Dom all over him.
No, well, Dom likes those flipping horrendous jam on toast things. So I liked the first one we had in America, and I thought that's all right. And then I had a second one. I thought, no, I can't do it. Why would I have that when I can just have, reliable old tea?
Although I quite like Red Bush tea and vanilla tea.
Yes, I'm partial to a Red Bush and Red Bush tea. Yes.
Next thing. So, if you've got something from Britt Baker, who else would you want something by?
Jamie Hayter.
Adam Cole,
baby. Yes, her significant other, the love of her life, of course.
Again, absolutely beautiful little pin badge. It's not focusing though.
It's what's weird. That could another aspect ratio. That could be CM Punk.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
you'll take the hands off on that angle. It's CM Punk, isn't it?
Yeah.
That head is definitely pretty much CM Punk.
That's really bad, isn't it? But they're like, change it now. But anyway.
Yeah. But again, these badges are so detailed, so clear. You've got the AC on the sort of chest. You've got the lightning bolt on it as well. Yeah, if you turn them eyes brown and turn the eyebrows, instead of being like that eyebrows to like that, CM Punk all day long.
Oh dear. I promise on these streams I'm not going to say his name because I'm still just so frustrated over that. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, there's no point getting upset over things you can't control, which has been my mantra this year. So far, so good.
Yeah. It's one where negativity breeds negativity and we don't like negativity.
No.
So usually there is something. Oh, this one. Oh, old school. Got a DVD.
Oh, wicked. It's Glory by Honor 15, is that?
15. Yep, sick. 2016.
See, oh, wow. That's incredible.
And I can see the match card on the back. I'll go through it with you.
Yeah.
Red Dragon versus Adam Cole and Hangman Page.
Oh my God. So they're Bullet Club, presumably, at that point.
Yeah, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Jay Lethal versus Matt Jackson.
I'll take it.
Yep. Mark Briscoe versus Colt Cabana.
Oh. I think I watched this. I watched this on pay-per-view or iPay-per-view.
The Cabinet versus Motor City Machine Guns and Jay White.
Wow. Oh, that's when they were Seek and Destroy. Yes. That era of Ring of Honor, they were just on the cusp of greatness.
Yeah. And then Dalton Castle versus Jay Briscoe.
Yeah. Those two are just brilliant. Oh, Jay Briscoe.
Dalton Castle is relatively new to me, but entertaining as hell. Yeah.
Oh, see, I've been a fan for years. I always loved his stuff. Like I remember his feud with Cody for the Ring of Honor Championship. That was an awesome feud, and like when Dalton finally took that from Cody, that was like wow. But it more communicated Cody would be up to moving on to better things. But yeah, that was a great moment. It was just for kind of like the advent of AEW. That era of Ring of Honor was before the advent of AEW and before the pandemic. And this was when people don't remember it now, But this was when WWE were getting worried about Ring of Honor. Only a bit, but they were sending them cease and desists.
Making some waves.
Yeah, Bullet Club were turning up at WWE events and doing what DX used to do to WCW. So the worm had really turned. And then, Ring of Honor just took an absolute kicking when all their big stars went to AEW and the pandemic. But now we're in the owned by Tony Khan era, and I'm actually kind of into it. Like, speaking of Honor Club Misfit, I'm a proud Honor Club member. I pay every month for that, and it's only a couple of quid. It's the price of a pint. I don't feel it, but yeah, it's I just love it. It'd be better if AEW maybe had a full app with everything on it.
Yeah.
But should Ring of Honor ever be included in AEW stuff? Technically, it's a sister promotion, but it's a separate promotion. Let's not forget another kind of roster share at the moment, and that annoys me a little bit. I like the crossover between the two, but I don't want Ring of Honor just to be another brand of AEW. I want it to have a very distinct, different flavor. And Tony Khan, stop booking it and bring back Delirious. Rant over. There you go. And Danny Green is in saying,
"How you doing?
Catch up on the stream later. Just popping in to acknowledge you guys. Acknowledge your tribal chiefs."
Yes. You've got Beer City Brews there versus Donovan Dijak.
Oh, wow.
Versus Punishment Martinez.
So that, which is, of course, flipping heck, I've forgotten his name.
Senor Money in the Bank.
Senor Money, yeah. What's his flipping name? I've forgotten his name. I told you I was tired.
Damian Priest.
Jesus, what's wrong with me? Yeah. And I love how Damian Priest is, like, when he actually joined NXT, he was still down as Punishment Martinez for a bit.
Yes.
And he actually had a match against Matt Riddle on an episode of NXT, billed as Punishment Martinez versus Matt Riddle. And they're actually friends from the Monster Factory where they trained together for years. I remember just thinking, wow, I've just watched Punishment Martinez versus Matt Riddle. That's crazy. And obviously, well, now one's just been fired for now. And one's kicking ass in Judgment Day. But yeah, it's so weird to think like, because I always thought to myself, Punishment Martinez was like, could be like the Undertaker potentially one day. He had those vibes about him. Now they've kind of gone another way a little bit, but I still think he's got an aura of Taker. I've often thought that. But yeah, over to you, Dan. And Daniel Wiley's in. He says,
we've
hi,
got
guys.
all the Daniels in today.
I know, it's Dan City. He says, I'm happy Dom lost the North American Championship. Yeah, I am as well, actually. Only because I'm quite intrigued by this Trick storyline with Trick now
Trick
holding
Williams
a belt.
Is great.
Yeah, and Carmelo Hayes now not holding one. Ooh, I like it.
But again, we'll get to that. We've got an NXT. Have you watched the No Mercy yet?
I have, yes.
Yes. Okay. It makes it easier for us to both chat about it if we've both seen it.
This is why today I had a cup of tea, I had a Lemsip, I soldiered on, and I watched it because I knew I was tempted to just play Diablo all day, but I thought, I really need to watch that pay-per-view.
So we'll get to that one as well, Daniel. Don't worry. That's our final segment. That's why it's on the title card. Let's get back to what we've got. So we've done the small pieces. I think so. Yep. I mean, I can already see from that.
Oh, yeah.
Even that piece of the artwork looks intriguing. It looks very 70s, 80s Captain Scarlet, I think.
Oh, yeah. This is the hoist of the Omegatrons.
Yeah.
We know you can hear us, Earthmen.
So let's have a look.
That's sick.
That's
Omega
awesome.
does have some cool t-shirts.
Yes.
I must say, I own a few of them.
Yeah, I've got this one. I've got another two, I think. But always amazing artwork.
Yeah, I like it. You've got so many cool t-shirts.
Really cool colours.
She'd fall out on me if I had this many t-shirts.
I had a look. I sorted through a few last week because the drawer actually broke because there was too many in there. I counted, I think it was 43, 44 wrestling t-shirts alone.
So I think I've got about 30, I think, conservatively. I could be wrong. They are the bulk of my t-shirts.
Yes, massively.
some of them have been relegated to like PJ tops, when you're cold in bed.
No,
No,
not
really,
slightly.
I've got a few of them.
I'm literally a radiator 24/7 in bed.
Oh, see, sometimes I like just a t-shirt on. I usually take it off when I'm getting comfy. If I'm getting a bit up,
Yeah.
I kick it off in the night. But sometimes just on my shoulders while I'm sitting up. Don't you worry, Daniel. We will get to what's her called? What's her name? Jade Cargill.
Oh,
Absolutely, we can't not talk about that.
No.
Sarah and Kaida are commenting on your Kenny Omega
Oh,
t-shirt,
yes.
mate.
Oh,
It's
yes,
awesome.
it is. And
I kinda
last
want
thing, yeah. And the thing is, this is why I love these boxes, because it's very, very, very rare you'll ever see another one.
Mm.
You only make so many boxes at a time, and with that so many boxes, all of the t-shirts are exclusive. You can't buy them anywhere.
I'm tempted
So
to.
that was the main reason why, when we was in the hotel for All In, and I saw someone with the Will Ospreay shirt I had on, we had to get a photo together.
Oh, really? Oh, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, of course.
Both Young Bucks it out. And last thing, we get a signed photo. So I'm going to do what I always do. Oh, there's two in here.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to start with the one at the back first. So we've got a hairdo.
Oh,
Who do we think?
Who is it? Who are you?
Let's see if I can get it a bit closer.
Colt Cabana?
Ooh, could be a shout. Let's keep going. I'm struggling to actually see. Oh,
Big
I can
Boss
tell. I know what that is.
Joe Gacy?
I
Big
think
Boss
it's one of the one of the Nasty Boys.
Oh. Go on. Let's see it. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. Where is Ring of Honor title? Nice.
Is that Ring of Honor?
I think
No,
so.
that's the WWF World Tag Team Championship.
Is it? Oh, so it is. I thought it was an ROH one from that distance. Yeah.
No.
I thought, has he ever held that? Ever in
But
Ring
again,
of Honor? I must have missed it.
Photo is really nice. It's such a good publicity shot with a WWE title around your waist.
Yeah.
Great signature as well. So if that's one, are we presuming the second one is the other one?
It's got to be on it.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to answer your question, Daniel, it looks like she is keeping the name Jade Cargill because it is her real name. She went by that name before she joined any promotion, so she'll be keeping that.
So great set of photos there.
You've got a pair of nasty boys.
And there's a couple of nasty boys on the podcast.
Yeah, Daniel and Daniel.
Now I was thinking of me and you later on when we end up talking.
Oh yeah, we're gonna annihilate each other.
Annihilate
each other. It's gonna be so savage. You've never seen anything like it.
You thought Mick Foley was hardcore. Wait till us later on.
Yeah, this is gonna be like Taker versus Foley. This Hell in a Cell is what it's gonna be. Or Undertaker versus Kane, or Michaels versus Undertaker's always involved, isn't he?
Most of the time.
Yeah,
but Triple H actually holds the record for the most Hell in a Cell matches.
Does he really? That's because everybody wants to kick his ass in Hell in a Cell.
Everyone's sick of him.
See, I thought it'd be Michaels. I honestly thought it'd be Michaels or Randy Orton. They would have been my go-tos.
So I'm going to go through everything again, and then we'll have a look at the next segment, whichever we want to do. So we've got the Kenny Omega awesome design T-shirt. Great colours, even though there's only 3 of them really on there. We also got the Iron Sheik.
Oh.
Again, beautiful T-shirt. That is actually super soft as well compared to the Kenny Omega one. That is ridiculously soft.
I wish there was an Iron Sheik T-shirt that said jabroni on one side and dumb mother. Hulk Hogan is a dumb mother on the front. I would love that.
I reckon you can go and find somewhere that you could buy that from. Etsy.
I reckon. Yeah, I reckon. I tell you, do you know what? My last memory of Iron Sheik is a really, really weird one. It's nothing to do with wrestling. It was when Jason David Frank died. The Green Ranger from
Green
Power
Ranger, yeah.
Rangers. And the Iron Sheik, I didn't know he was a Power Rangers fan or anything like that, but he just commented, "We're really going to miss you, JDF Bubba. We all love you very much," or some words to that effect. I remember thinking,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's so nice." And
So
because
out there as
normally
well.
he's slagging off Hulk Hogan
Yeah,
to see
That's
that.
literally his go-to.
I thought was quite sweet, and I think I'll always remember that. And obviously a few months later he's gone himself, so it was just there you go. I'll just quickly do some of these comments, Dan, just so we don't fall behind.
Go for it.
So Misfit says same thing happened with Nakamura. They couldn't copyright it because it's his real name. Yet same with Matt Riddle and a few other things too. Plenty of people, in fact. And Daniel saying Solo versus Jimmy versus LA Knight and Cena. What are your opinions on that match? I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be awesome. 4 great talents involved. I think it's a massive moment for Jimmy Solo and LA Knight, especially. I actually think the heels need to. I'd like it if the heels won, but I do think the baby faces are going to win for a big pop, and so some dissension between Jimmy and Solo starts to appear. But yeah, I'm so excited for that one, Daniel.
Yeah.
Really am. Go ahead, dude.
It's a match that you don't actually expect because I think The Rock was rumored to be in the match at one point. And I'm like, The Rock could be great, obviously, but you can't deny LA Knight is probably as popular as The Rock in WWE as of right now for some reason. It's insane the level of pops that he's getting.
It's tragic as well, but it's like remember there were plans to bring back Bray and have him be one of the top baby faces on SmackDown. But obviously, tragically, Bray is no longer with us, and I don't mean this as an opportunistic and please no one jump down my throat for saying this, but with the loss of the incredibly sad loss of Bray, a spot has opened up where previously there wasn't one. That's just the reality of how booking works, and it looks like to me LA Knight might fill that very, very, very big void. I think so, because before that they were struggling a bit to know what to do with LA Knight, where now, it sounds awful, but I think the road is paved. And with him being the last person who ever feuded and wrestled Bray Wyatt, he can almost carry Bray with him a little bit in the same way Bo Dallas, I'm sure, will when he hopefully returns. Again, you've heard my fantasy booking for Uncle Howdy and LA Knight and Bo Dallas and what I'd like to happen there. But obviously, there's a lot that needs to happen first. Mark is saying, as of today, Edge, a.k.a. Adam Copeland, is a free agent. He certainly is. What could happen tonight? Oh, and we need Jay versus Jimmy. I think, Daniel, we're going to see it. I think it's a like they're on different brands at the moment, so I don't know how they're going to do it. But it does sort of need to happen, doesn't it?
You look at what happened last year with Rey Mysterio and Dominic. They ended up feuding, but they ended up going on to separate bands to keep them apart before starting this WrestleMania story together.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
So I think that could be a Royal Rumble time-ish, probably.
Yeah, if they cross paths in the Rumble, that would make a lot of sense. That would be really clever writing, actually. And that's what's so great about the Rumble is you could do this cool stuff. So I love the idea of their feud beginning at Rumble season, and I think it's a WrestleMania match. Those two, brother versus brother,
100%.
But I do reckon that they have to fight and then come back together after the match. And ready for their cousin to lose his title to Cody. But that's what I'm thinking.
The ending of the match, to me, I hope they do something similar to Cody and Dusty at the All Out show, where they was feuding, and then at the end of the match, they have like a match. I need a tag team partner for SmackDown or something. I don't want to go. I need my brother. Yeah. I can watch that match now, and I can still feel a punch to the heart from it because it's just such an emotional story in that match. It's unbelievable.
It was not, and we were all worried, weren't we, that Dustin was retiring after that?
Yes.
I'm not going to lie. I don't think he's had a match of that caliber ever since that one. I think
that was his peak.
Yeah, like, but I don't. Again, you know, and when Cody left the company, things got a little bit weird. Like, was he just going to go back and be Goldust again? Hell no.
Yeah.
So, oh blimey, these guys are moving. We're also saying Misfits saying Sami Callihan is a free agent too. Yep. Will we see the
that's
return
exciting.
of Jeremiah Crane, perhaps, or will he go to AEW? Like, surely there's only 3 places he can go, which is New Japan, WWE, and AEW. Daniel is saying, how long until Braun returns? Well, he's walking again. Obviously, we saw him at Bray's 10-bell salute, standing up, but he's still in a word on the street is he's still in a lot of pain. His injury is very, very serious. How long is a piece of string on that one? Hopefully, we will see him again soon.
Sooner rather than later, hopefully.
He's really suffering. So let's hope he, you know, yes, indeed, Ricochet has returned. So we'll just skip past them if you don't mind, lads. Actually, he's been on Raw for a few weeks, involved in the Nakamura Rollins feud. Oh, yeah, so he has. It's been a bit understated, though. He's just kind of been punked out for Seth, hasn't he, really? Is Seth losing his title to Nakamura? I don't think so. And yes, so Misfit is absolutely correct. Braun had neck surgery. The guy is dealing with a lot. So, but hopefully he's not gone forever, and we will see.
Yeah, he's hopefully on the road to recovery more than anything else. If that takes 6 weeks, 6 months, we just want him to come back when he's healthy.
Yeah,
we
it'll
don't
be a
want
while.
To list injuries. Yeah,
because he couldn't feel. Let's not forget, he couldn't feel his legs a while ago. He couldn't walk. So that was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. So I was very relieved when I saw him on Raw as well. You know, stood up, and obviously he was there under very sad circumstances, but it was very nice. It was good that he was there, and you know, he probably meant a lot to him to be there as well. Of course, it did. Randy Orton return. You're keeping me busy tonight, Daniel. That's a coming. King Mike says MJF will beat Roman at Mania 41 for the belts. Maybe there's going to be a bidding war in 2024, as MJF keeps telling us. Peter says, greetings, gents. Peace from New York City. Hi, mate. You okay? Thanks for joining us from over there. I hope it's not getting too cold over there. I know what it's like this time of year in New York City. It's bloody getting cold here.
It's not.
Flipping. I haven't put the central heating on yet, though. I haven't done that. I'm not doing that. I refuse to do that.
Yes. It's still October. It doesn't need to go on until mid-December.
No, that's not true. Mid-October, when things start getting a bit icy, I'd say.
No.
No.
I mean, you haven't done... I mean, in Hull, we have the largest travelling fair in Europe. Hull Fair. So have you seen Oktoberfest with all the rads?
Yes, so at least I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, but it's the largest congregation of travelling rads in Europe, and it's been going over 1,000 years.
Oh, wow.
Not rads, but it's as a travelling sort of fair, whether it was sort of like circus performers or shaman, whatever you wanted to call them. It's just built from little side shows into thrill rads and kiddies rads, sad stalls, hooker duck type stuff. So it's been the largest travelling fair in Europe for years.
Christ, so we're going back 1,000 years. We're looking at like the anarchy time in history, where
I think it started around 800 AD.
Oh, bloody hell! Well, that's like Viking age, pre-Viking age, no such thing as England. We were split into multiple countries, weren't we? Then, where it was before Alfred the Great.
Wrong way around. The first permission for Hull Fair as a fair was 1278, so it's been going just shy of 800 years.
Jesus. So yeah, we're into the Plantagenet era. By then.
Edward the First.
Edward the First was Longshanks, was it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. He was the one. He was the hammer of the Scots, they called him. I think the Scots hammered him back several times. But anyway, history. Welcome to history class with Sam and Dan.
Not wrestling related either.
No, well,
although there might have been wrestling showcases on years ago.
Oh yeah, like does everybody know? I won't go into it all, but does everybody know how wrestling started and stuff like that? I remember reading about that in that book, you know, that comic book. I don't know if I showed it you. It talks about the origins of wrestling and how it went from actual like bare knuckle boxing to how can we sell these fights, but without our fighters being so injured and that they can't do it in every town we travel to. So they learned how to work the fights to make it look real, but they weren't. So they could do the same. Cool. Yeah, so they could do the same set, but hoodwink the people into paying. So you have these two burly blokes who, so rather than actually fighting each other, they were learning, so that's the origin of wrestling is in, like traveler bare knuckle boxing and things like that. And it was only later did it get adopted by, Catch as Catch Can and Greco wrestling and things like that, all kind of combined into it. But it actually has its origins in bare knuckle boxing at carny shows and stuff like that. But yeah, hey, there you go. Don't say you don't learn anything on this podcast.
We do try to teach and train and everything else.
There we go. Over to you now, Dan. I'll go through some of these. Where you going?
Okay. Immediately conference Jade. Like I said, we will get that at the end of tonight's show, because that is our sort of headline for this one, because we hope Jade Cargill's appearing soon, but we will get to that. But the first thing, go on.
So Daniel's saying we should have the heating on. See, I've not got my heating on yet, but I guarantee I'll have it on before Halloween. Guaranteed.
Nah, I don't. If it was up to me, I'd just chuck an extra jacket on or an extra hoodie, and I wouldn't put it on whatsoever. It's
when it's raining, isn't it? It's when it's like it gets too damp and your pipes start getting damp and all that crap, and it's like I've got to dry. I've got 100 grand tied up in this house. I've got 100 grand on the mortgage left. But I've also
got damp everywhere.
Exactly, I've got 100 grand's worth of equity in it as well. So there's no flipping way am I letting this thing go to rack and ruin, because one day this is going to be my meal ticket. So, but anyway, Tom Campbell is going to be ring announcing Impact. You guys are moving fast tonight. We can't get anything done.
Did you see the video for that announcement?
No, I haven't. Yeah, I will. I'll get to it.
It's quite a nice one. It's Joe Hendry. Basically hands him an envelope and Tom's reading it out. And it's quite a nice little piece because he does get quite teary.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah.
I'll let you just crack on for a minute, Dan. Okay. I'm just going to go and grab that book for King Mike so I can tell him what book it is. So I'll just quickly leave the stream and I'll come back. I just thought at least I think I've got it on my bookshelf in there. So I'll just quickly run and get it.
See you in a sec. All right. Stuck with me for a second. So he's going to go find that one. Confirmed WWE does not own the Rated R Superstar nickname. The copyright to that name ended a while back. Would they have the option of reapplying for that? Probably, just because I know they'd probably use it on the merchandise, stuff like that. But yeah, we've got, like I said, a couple of different things lined up for tonight, which we're going to start in a second. I've got to show the Nakamura image you sent me. Let me just see if I can bring it up on my Twitter for everyone. It's not Twitter anymore, it's X in it, but it's the same thing. Let's just swap into mine. So, won't be a second, guys. Go. Where's my messages? There they are. I always forget how to use Twitter on a computer because it's always on your phone, isn't it? Very rarely, I think, the people use it on a big screen. On save image. Save, there we go. And I should be able to present a file. Oh no, wrong one. That one. Won't be a sec. I don't overlay, that's the one. Where is it? Where's it gone?
Hey up.
How are we doing?
So I also got beer because I've tried everything else to feel better, so I might as well just do this now. Sometimes it works, sometimes I feel like crap, and then I think, oh, bugger it, I'm going to have a beer, and then I do, and I feel great. Right, so just to answer your question, King Mike 1, this book, so it's basically done as a comic book. It's like a graphic novel, but it goes from the very, very beginnings of wrestling all the way to the book ends. It's not a spoiler because we all watched it, but it ends with the miracle on Bourbon Street, Daniel Bryan winning both. That's kind of where it leaves off. The book is called The Comic Book Story of Professional Wrestling by Aubrey Citizen and Chris Morneau. So I'm just going to put it up by the camera so you can see it. This is it. And that's where, I learned a lot. I read it in a weekend at Centre Parks. It was very good. I'm going to have to move in a second, Dan, to grab when my dog comes in. But until then, I'm sticking around. I'm just going to shut the door when he comes in.
Okay. I'm just trying to load up the image that I've just been sent on. We've been sent on Twitter.
Ah, yes.
Doesn't seem to be loading it for some reason. But what I'll do instead is I'll just share the tab itself on the screen. So if I present screen, that one. So I'm just going to add this into the stream.
There are 3 Dan Hargreaves on this stream. That's awesome.
That is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Oh, wrong one. There we go. That is just such a cool image. And I mean, that you could easily sort of blur the edges of the sort of background itself or shape it a little bit, whack it on a t-shirt. And that's such a cool t-shirt. Yeah.
He looks like, he reminds me of someone? Who does he remind me of on there? Like, not Bruce Lee, someone like the main character from Old Boy, something like that. Brian Garcia says she will return to the Brie Garcia, not Brian Garcia. Anyway, Brie is in Brie
Bella.
Brie Bella, of course.
Yeah, is that what everyone knows her as?
Exactly. Yeah. There we go.
So I mean, brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing that one, Misfit. Let's get back to us too, because we're going to talk about No Mercy from last night, NXT.
Yes, let's do it.
There we go. So we've got basically a full match card of every match that went down, and we've both seen it. So we do want to let people know there is a spoiler alert.
Yeah, we are going to discuss
because we are going to be talking about all 1 matches.
Yes.
Obvious. If you haven't seen it, you can go check that out after we've finished. But if you don't want to hear it, mute us for a little bit until you see something that's not NXT related.
Yeah, I suppose so. And stay the hell away from Twitter because everyone's banging on about it. I saw half the spoilers before I watched it today. I was like,
I didn't bother. I stayed off social media until I watched it.
That Dan is smart. I should do that.
Yeah. So the first match on the show itself was a match that I wasn't sure if I was going to be into or not. Bron Breakker versus Baron Corbin. What did you think?
I liked it. It was heel versus heel. At least I think it is. I don't know if I don't think they turned Bron face, and Corbin's certainly a heel. But yeah, it was. It's a quote Mark here. It was banger after banger after banger after banger. It was very, very good.
Yeah.
This was a good match. It was just 2 big meaty men slapping meat. There was a lot of fun spots. Yeah, is that from Smart Out Moment?
Yeah, that's actually on the official poster itself for the show.
Oh, is it really? Oh, right. Okay. Yep. Well, shout
all
out
of the pictures that, apart from the final image that we've got for the Jade Cargill, everything else is just literally copy and paste directly from Google.
Right. Well, Smart Out Moment. Props to you guys. Keep up the good work over there because I sometimes come to you for your keeping track of who's a heel and who's not lists. Yeah. I very much enjoy them. So shout out to you guys. So Mark's saying, my only problem is them walking bikes down to the ring. Either use bikes or walk. Yeah, I agree with that. Right, the dog is in. I'm just going to shut this door because I'm getting cold. And Dan's told me I'm not allowed to put the heating on. So
I didn't say you're not allowed to put heating on. I just don't put mine on. But yeah, I think as matches go, it was such a good opener to the show. Yeah, you had Bron Breakker come straight out the gate doing a flip over the top rope, hitting Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
And there was so many inventive spots. I'll say inventive spots. It's stuff that we've seen quite regularly, but for 2 quite big guys to do them to each other,
yes,
it was such a nice thing to see. And Baron Corbin was getting cheered quite a bit, I think, throughout the match.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if people are taking to his gimmick. His gimmick change that isn't his old gimmicks, which is not a gimmick. It's a very confusing gimmick. Yeah. but it's a good gimmick.
And
Gimmick.
I mean, Bron Breakker is out of the two is the de facto heel in the match because that's what he's been portrayed as. So it might be, how can Bron Breakker go up against a person that doesn't know if they're face or heel and see what reactions they're getting before they're bringing up to the main roster?
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
And it's one where I think Bron Breakker is more than ready for the main roster now. But I do think they're going to hold off until Royal Rumble time.
Yeah. I'm surprised he's not there already because I thought he was getting called up at Mania. In fact, we were sat there drinking our Stone Cold beer and we were like, we're defo seeing Bron Breakker, aren't we? We're defo seeing, especially because he lost the title to Carmelo Hayes the day before. We were like, surely there's method in that madness. But no, apparently not. He's still here. He turned heel, didn't he? After Mania.
Yeah, and I think I remember reading somewhere that they've kept him in NXT to work on his heel personas, which makes sense. If he doesn't know how to be a heel, keep him in NXT while he works on that character arc. And he seems to have smashed that out of the park as well. So
yeah,
when you bring him up to the main roster, do you bring him up as a face or a heel?
I think he needs to be. I think he needs to be a babyface in order to get the pop. Because if he isn't, then it kind of he comes up with a whimper, not a bang. You know what I mean? That's just me. Like when people like Bobby Roode came up, they were like massive heels in NXT, and then when he went to the main roster, he came up as a babyface and started feuding with Ziggler and stuff like that. And so they don't call up everybody as a babyface, but they want Bron to be a top guy one day. And just look at him; he's gonna be. Look at his head. You know, so I say make him a heel and turn him face again before you bring him up. And don't do this thing that WWE do where it doesn't count in NXT. And we forget about everything. Please don't do that because you can't have people like Dominic Mysterio and Becky Lynch going on there and there being overlap and them holding the belts and then say it doesn't count 6 months later. You make up your mind which one is it. Yeah, anyway, that's just me.
Yeah, I think that the way that I'd actually bring Bron Breakker up is I'd do it before Royal Rumble. I'd have him be a surprise member in a 5-on-5 team at Survivor Series.
Ooh.
Because then you're giving him the exposure just before and then let it die down and then bring him out as like number 28 at the Royal Rumble and go on a tear.
Yeah, that'd be great. And by this point, everybody knows who he is, don't they? Even a lot of the casuals know who he is. So, yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, a lot of people might not be aware that it's actually Scott Steiner's son. Which, I mean, you look at him, all you can see is Scott Steiner straight away. So, I don't know where people go, who is it? But Scott Steiner supposedly wouldn't let WWE use the Steiner name, which is why he goes by Bron Breakker.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought he was Rick Steiner's son. I must be wrong.
Might be Rick. Yeah, it might be Rick. I know
he's a Steiner. He's one of the Steiners. He's one of the. I always thought it was the Steiner that made a bit of a fool of himself at Mania this weekend this year in LA. He's Rick's son. King Mike says.
Rick, yeah.
Thank you, King Mike. Yeah, well, they look they're big. They're just two big dudes, and Scott is his uncle. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
I wasn't sure either, but because I remember having a prediction that I wonder have they turned him heel because of his dad's silly faux pas at WrestleCon. Yeah. We should have gone to WrestleCon while we were getting pissed. Drunk during the day. We should have gone to WrestleCon. I'm kind of thinking
we didn't get drunk. We was there in a professional capacity.
You can do both. You can do both in this line of work, guys. It's great. Why do you think I do this? No, I'm joking. Speaking of, I know we're going to talk about Impact in a bit, but I'm hoping to kind of reignite. So Jess and I are going to Coventry to watch some of the Impact shows, and we're really excited because, next, I think I've told you this before, Dan, but next to the venue, like a 2-minute walk from the venue, there's The Botanist. So we're going to get some food there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and have a load of cocktails, which is exactly what we did in Cardiff before Clash at the Castle. And when we went to Clash at the Castle, we were drunk as hell. It was great. It was so good. So Dom was obviously representing Soundsphere just before we launched WrestleSphere. Dom was there doing all the work, and I remember texting him being like, "Oh mate, like if you need me to back you up, I could do it, but I'd have to maintain because I've been drinking cocktails all day." So I'm really hoping that all the Impact Press stuff is like way earlier, so I don't. So I can
you
do
can do
that,
go get drunk, and then come back for the show
and enjoy it, and just enjoy
Yeah.
it. That's what I'm kind of hoping, because I know full well I'm going to have to like say hi to Simon, and I'm probably going to meet a few Impact wrestlers, and I'm going to have to be Captain Professional. So
not stinking of booze.
Yeah, so I'm waiting to see what they say before I, depending on which Sam they're going to get, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I was sober as a judge at all in.
So one of the other matches, Fatal 4-Way Championship Tag Team, which again was an absolute storm burner of a match. It was brilliant.
So
Creed Brothers, Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, OTM, and Tony D'Angelo and Stacks as champions. What do you think of that one?
Well, yeah, the champs retained, didn't they? So
yeah,
it's no secret that I'm not a fan of Fatal 4-Way tag matches or triple threat tag matches because they break kayfabe. Like, why the hell would you tag out or in if you think about it? Why would you tag another team? Like, surely you want to be in there as much as possible, and you don't want the other team to get your opportunity. So why would you tag an opponent? It completely breaks kayfabe. And I know they work. Yeah, I agree with King Mike on this one.
Yes.
I think there were way too many people. I think they should have had a match on the NXT before that eliminated
like an elimination match or a number one contender match.
Yeah, just a little mini tournament where they did that, and I do think the Creed brothers should have been the favourite, but I do think Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo should have gone over, not in the pay-per-view, but before, and they should have been the opponents.
Yes.
But I do think OTM should have looked savage in defeat, really made their mark, because it was hard for them to do that here because they were in there with 3 other teams. I know they spent a lot of effort on that spot where they were being evil to Stacks, and Tony D came back out and Brock Lesnar did his way back to the ring, and that was great. But other than my criticism that I level at all Fatal 4-Way tag matches, I don't mind single Fatal 4-Way tag matches because everybody's in there. But apart from the usual criticism, it was actually very good, and I enjoyed it, and it held my attention. But yeah, too many people in there for anybody to shine, personally.
Yeah. I think I remember on, I don't know if it was a pay-per-view at the time or a Monday Night Raw, the New Age Outlaws being in a 4-way tag match. And the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn actually looked at the match rules, was logic about it, and they made sure they was both tagged in at the same point, and then they just pinned one another for the titles.
Yeah.
It completely plays the rules at their own game, which is a smart thing to do. But with these sort of matches, there is too many people. There's too many ways to confuse people, I think.
If you showed a non-wrestling fan a tag Fatal 4-Way, you'd spend the entire match explaining it to them.
Yeah.
That's the problem with them. Like, you show them a tag team match, and they're going to see something good. It's easy to understand. You know, tag team matches can be quite formulaic sometimes, which is why Vince McMahon doesn't like them. But they can, and sometimes they risk turning into like the Young Bucks matches where things are moving so fast nothing can breathe, which is my criticism of AEW's tag division sometimes. I think WWE have that balance right sometimes, but sometimes it can be a bit too slow too. As soon as this happens and people are in and out, and it might as well be a bloody tornado match, and no one is tagging, it's a mess, and I'm not a fan of it. But I can't criticize any of the 8 men involved. I think they all did.
They're doing exactly what they've been asked to do, which is go out there and put on a good match, which the match itself was great. There was great spots for all of the teams individually, and all of the teams got a good chunk of the pie in a way. But as a overall, too many cooks spoiling the broth, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And just in case, and one day I'm hoping to interview Tony D'Angelo. I think with WrestleSphere, I think that's,
Yeah,
I think that's realistic.
entertaining.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun because I'm a massive Sopranos fan, and I see you, Tony D. I see you. You drop a Sopranos reference in almost every promo, and I'm loving them. He's even mentioning characters at this point like Hesh and Paulie,
Yeah.
and I know like Paulie's like a generic mafia tough guy name, but his Tony Soprano impression is absolutely bang on. You can tell he's a big fella. He's an Italian American Jap himself, but he's
Yeah.
nailing it. And so Mark's just told us a couple of things about Edge. So licensing rights to Metalingus, another set of exclusive rights reached. So WWE never felt it necessary. Right. So like CM Punk, Edge could potentially use his own music.
CM Punk never used his own music, did he? He was using Living Colour.
Yeah. But WWE will often, like wrestling companies will often license said track, so no one else can do it. And it looks like they've not done that with Metalingus. But they say he's no longer have the license, and Rob Zombie's never going to stop. Okay. We'll see where they go.
Yeah. So next match we had North American Championship. We did say we'd have a chat about it.
Yes.
Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus Trick Williams. So I'll let you take the lead on this one with the Trick Williams storyline.
Well, yeah, the story here is Carmelo Hayes has been a little bit dismissive of Trick because Trick's not a champion. Like while they were a heel team, Trick was always his minion in his corner. And Trick is now kind of emerging from the shadow of Carmelo Hayes. And while he's been trying to do that and still be a supportive friend to Carmelo Hayes not really been reciprocating that. Carmelo has only ever been coming to Trick when he's feeling insecure and wanting validation from Trick. And it's made Trick into a real baby face. Now, the crowd are chanting, "Whoop that Trick," because they're really behind him. And now Carmelo has lost his title and Trick has gained a title. And interestingly, it's the title that really skyrocketed Carmelo as well, the North American. He was the A champ, he called himself when he held that. So now in their minds, Trick is the A champ and Melo is nothing. So I do think, because we've always thought Trick's going to turn on Melo, but now it's kind of looking like Melo might get jealous of Trick and their roles have reversed. So it's really good storytelling. Trick looks like $1 million. He's very good in the ring. We forget how good he actually is because he's so funny on the mic and he's such a promo guy and he's a storyline guy. But yeah, this was good. Because this is the first time we saw him in such a high-profile match on a pay-per-view in front of that many people. So this was a really big deal. And going over to Dominic Mysterio, he's looked like a star since Mania, like a big star since Mania now.
Yeah.
And that shiner he came out with, my God. Like I thought, have they made that, have they
enhanced it?
Yeah, with some makeup, but I don't think they have. I think he's been clocked, and that looks painful as hell.
Yeah.
So props to Dirty Dom for wrestling with that shiner, because that looks painful. That
reckon it was Rhea?
Yeah, beating him up, beating him into bedroom antics. While Buddy Murphy just watches in
Sits
the dark in a rocking chair.
With a camcorder
to move. With a camcorder.
Although I still keep going back to AEW, the Acclaim's intros when it was House of Black against the Acclaimed, and I think one of the lines was I can't remember exactly, but
being cooked by a kid called Dominic.
It was such a good line. It was absolutely hilarious, and the crowd knew exactly what was going on. And you just think.
And he just left the ring and battered him, didn't he? He just left the ring and attacked. Which is what you do.
Yeah. If it was real life and someone said that about your missus, you'd go and clock them one.
Yeah. Even though, but I do love how it's kayfabe breaking, but in a good way, because we all know that
we're all in on the joke.
He's engaged to in real life, so an AEW can get a bit meta sometimes, and that's all right. Especially with I forgot his name, not Anthony Bowens. Who's the other one? How's he called? Max Caster.
That's one.
Especially Max Caster. He breaks the fourth wall every now and then, and
Yeah.
I'll turn a blind. I don't normally like that, but I'll turn a blind eye to it with his raps because they entertain me.
Yeah,
King Mike
and
is saying,
it's nice to see some of the references that he throws in as well for pop culture.
and politics. He's very political, isn't he?
Yeah,
and
really
he's
good.
very pro gay rights as well, because obviously he's a buddy.
Obviously, yeah.
And I like that he supports his bro in that regard so strongly, because that's really sweet. And it's really good. And let's not forget Bowens is absolutely fantastic. Like the Acclaimed are both of those two together, and they're so good at what they do. Like, I remember thinking they were a bit ropey when they first started out, but now they're A-listers. They're fantastic.
100%.
King Mike is saying, I went to Raw last week and Dom had insane heat. Surprised you lost Rhea. Well, yeah. A good one. I haven't been to Raw in ages. What was the last Raw we went to? We went to SmackDown
Mania.
in London. It was Mania, wasn't it? Yeah, I went to SmackDown in the UK, but I haven't been to a Raw since.
Before the one before Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that very controversial Raw after Mania. Although it's aged a lot better than we remember it. Because the Brock Lesnar story.
I don't think it has.
Do you not think so? I think it has. I'll tell you why. Because that Brock Lesnar storyline actually paid off in the end and paid off quite nicely. So I'll forgive that Raw. I think we were just burnt out, mate. We had spent all flipping week watching wrestling. We were knackered.
Yeah.
I'm probably a tad hungover from Anthony's beer-only barbecue that we had. Yeah, it's not a barbecue without food. It's just a sesh, Anthony.
Same
I'm
thing
gay,
in my eyes.
I appreciate. Well, yeah, you Yorkshire boys. We don't need sausages. We just got beer. Got Kestrel Supers. Did anyone see Mello's eyes on Trick's belt? I certainly did, Mike. And it's me.
That's why it's such a good story.
Yeah, because now the shoe's on the other foot, and I'm really now, because it's like I've said I really want NXT to like grow up a bit and stop being this college campus high school thing that it's kind of turned into. Go back to being not black and gold, but have the spirit of black and gold, and leave this whole rah high school stuff in the past.
High school characters.
Yeah, like it's me and Andy disagree on this frequently on the Wrestling Royalty podcasts, but I don't know. I'm not saying I want to go back to black and gold, but less of the childish stuff and more. These are pro fighters trying to get one up on each other. That's what I want it to be.
That's what it should be.
Who thinks once Judgment Day ends, Dom will turn face again? See, Mark, I'm of the view Dom will turn face after facing his dad at WrestleMania again and retiring him, and then realize the gravitas of what has just happened, and maybe inherit his dad's mask, and only then be like, "Oh my God, Hefe, what have we done? What have we done?" And then Ray being like, "It's on you now, mate. It's on you now. You know, you've got to carry." I think that could work if they tell the story in the right direction, but not until, because like we're having too much fun with him trying to cut a promo and getting booed to death.
Yes. I mean, that was the whole thing that I predicted last year. Even well before the heel turn, is Dom needed to turn heel, separate from his dad a little bit. At this point, I wasn't sure about the Judgment Day because it still had Edge at the forefront of it. But I mean, you'll go back to middle of August, I want to say. I actually predict Dominic heel turning and facing his dad at WrestleMania because there was rumors of Ray retiring. And I'm like, that's exactly what you want. You want Dom as a heel to go up against his dad at WrestleMania in a great match. Dominic wins, but then picks his dad up, hugs him, the walk up to the end of the ramp, and Dominic inherits the mask. Ray actually takes the mask off while in front of the crowd, but facing away, and then hands it over to Dominic, and then Dominic raises his dad's hand.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. But where the crowd can't see. Yeah,
the crowd see Ray's face.
The crowd don't see. I know they've seen it before in WCW, but if Dom cheated on Rhea, imagine the heat. That'd be great. I'd game for that. Let's do it. Let's do it. I bet it's so weird when she goes home and Buddy is just like, so how's it going?
You was getting awfully close with Dom.
Yeah. What was that reference he made on Raw? Was that a sex reference for the adults in the audience?
Yes.
Was it real? Oh, I'll have that engagement ring back, I think. That cost me an arm and a leg, that did. Oh, here we go. So this is going to be good.
North America. No, it wasn't. It's the Heritage Cup, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. What did you think of this?
The match itself was, again, absolutely fantastic. There is so many surprises with NXT that people don't realize that there's so much going on that you can have a match like this with people that have been on the main roster back in NXT and just being given that freedom.
Yeah.
Because Noam Dar versus Butch or Pete Dunne, if you want.
Pete Dunne.
Pardon?
I said, let's call him Pete Dunne. I hate the name.
Okay.
But it's sorry, it's just me and my beef, my heat with WWE for all the rubbish names they've come up with in recent times.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just me.
But it's again such a simple premise, but it's very exciting all the time.
It's a real styles clash as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I know both of them are perfectly capable and good, actually, doing the catch as catch stuff, the pure rules, like the NXT heritage stuff kind of needs them to do. But like when I see this cup, it just makes me miss WWE NXT UK. It's always a mouthful, isn't it? So now that Triple H is talking about NXT EU again, it's why we tweeted from the Gimme a Julia account earlier to Triple H. It was like, I really want to see that again. I think the time is now. I think it'd be great news for WrestleSphere if WWE had a UK, because it will be a UK based brand, but one that encapsulates the whole continent of Europe, not just Britain.
The best of the EU, but based in the UK.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. Never mind the EU. Like we are still part of Europe. We're not currently be in the EU.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
For now, it's inevitable we end up back there because it was the biggest dumbass decision we ever made as a nation. But we're still part of Europe. We're still in the continent of Europe. So, and I think that's why they were doing it, because like the UK is a lot of heritage, but they do a lot of business with WXW and a lot of other European promotions like Volta or Gunther and the new NXT champion are WXW alumni. So let's not forget, they've got two champions in the company who come from that circuit. So and this match just kind of made me look forward to that. I think there's a place for that in the company now, post-COVID. I just want that back. But this match reminded me of that in all the greatest kind of ways. I love Noam Dar. I love how he's been wearing a different outfit, like he was the Matrix a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then last Wednesday they were like, "Oh, I do declare Southern Bells." It's just absolutely brilliant. I think Pete Dunne is just savage. And I actually think it was the right decision to keep it on Noam Dar because it's just great TV.
Yeah. And I mean, Pete Dunne, Butch on the main roster, hasn't been used as much as previously over the past sort of 6 months. So it was nice to see him get that bit of a showcase on a match for something worthwhile.
Yeah, exactly. Because they booked him as a budget Peaky Blinder for a while on the main roster, didn't they?
Yeah.
But since they turned him face and they've given him his old look back, still won't give him his bloody name back. But
I think it's a matter of time.
Yeah, I do. I think it looks great. It's great having him on the main roster, but he actually, in NXT, he's the Pete Dunne of old, and he's a big star, where he's not lost in the shuffle on the main roster. We all know who he is. But it's like when Finn Balor came back to NXT, it was like the Emperor had returned. Where Finn's kicking ass in Judgment Day at the moment, absolutely. But it was a up and down run before that. It's only now they've managed to kind of capture some of that magic that he had in NXT. But that's because NXT is so much smaller than the main roster. So when big stars from the main roster go back there, they look like giants. That's the way it is.
Ziggler's done it. I mean, even to a sense,
Becky.
Becky,
Baron
Baron
Corbin,
Corbin.
Becky Lynch. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
I want to say I can't even remember her name.
Dolph
She's got
Ziggler.
worries. Well, Ziggler's just always awesome.
Yeah.
No, I refuse to accept Finn as a jobber. He's been booked very poorly, but in the past 12 months, is it me or are they are grooming this guy for greatness? They are preparing. Like, I think when Roman Reigns is toppled, they're probably going to make
They've
Balor
got
the
a
next.
perfect challenger.
Yeah, I think he's the supervillain next.
Yeah.
They seem to be gearing Balor into this supervillain figure. It's only a matter of time before he turns on Priest or vice versa. So, yeah, I think with the let's not forget Balor is the real rock and roller. He's the founder of Bullet Club. There's a lot we haven't seen the Demon King since Mania. There's a lot they can do with Balor. And I think the best is yet to come. But I'm a massive Balor fan. I think he's a brilliant wrestler, a brilliant human being.
I know someone who's a bigger Balor fan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and sleep next to them shortly. Yeah, It's
No. I
Oh,
was going to say Sarah in the chat.
oh, really? So that's
Oh,
Sarah and my
yes.
wife are both big Balor fans.
Yes.
Is it something to do with his abs, Sarah? And I'll ask my wife that
Probably.
as well.
I don't know if she'll be still watching, but in first thing, yeah, lurking and working. So it could be. I know she's got a life-size cardboard cut out of him.
Oh, really? Don't tell my wife that. She'll have it off you. And I'll come home one day and it'll be anyway. I won't say.
There you go. He's at the bottom of her bed.
So you wake up, Sarah, and Finn Balor stood over you.
Pretty much.
All 5'9" of him. They're ready to go. Okay. If it's a life size, then yeah. It's weird to think he's my height. It's weird to think. Yeah. I'm taller than AJ Styles. I'm not a tall guy. Like, you've stood next to me. You know I'm not a tall guy. But it's weird that yes, just no other words, no other context. That's a perfect height. Well, there you go. See, my missus isn't even 5 foot, so it works out quite well. But she I think
you look tall next to us. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and everything looks big in those. Anyway, this is why I'm here. Someone accused me of being a failed comedian once, Dan, and I'm like, I'm not a failed comedian because I've never even tried. So I've never failed. There you go.
It always reminds me of a Bob Monkhouse line. When I told my parents I wanted to be a comedian when I grew up, they started laughing. Now look,
no one's laughing now.
Yeah, always reminds me of that. It's just such a clever play on the words.
They nicked it in the Joker movie as well. He said that in the comedy club. Such a good film. God, that's a good film. And no, it's not the main event, is it? It was
no. Technically, yes, but this to me shows how good both of them are. How both of them are more than primed for the main roster. I don't think I could pick who I'd want to see on the main roster more, Carmelo or Ilya.
Ilya for me, but only because I want to see where all this mellow trick stuff goes. Because this is wrestling. It's got to end in violence. It's got to end in tears. But, like, and by the way, Andy Spores did a wonderful interview with Ilya Dragunov on WrestleSphere. So do go and check that out because it's, we have some cracking interviews, and I do say so myself. But that's one of our favourites. That's one of just one of the ones that got a lot of views. And seeing Dragunov chat to us and just be so open and so honest and so insanely charismatic. It's just you've got to see it, got to watch it. But yeah, I think you're right, Dan. I think both of them could exist on the main roster tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what NXT looks like with Ilya Dragunov at the top of the card. I think it's been a long time coming.
I mean, he had, some of the best matches in NXT UK against Gunther or Walter at the time.
Yeah.
And they was so violent.
Yes.
You looked at the chest of both men, and we know how hard Walter can chop. But Ilya Dragunov gave as much back.
Yeah. He's a firecracker. He's an absolute
Yeah.
firecracker. Like that is not somebody you'd want to fight in real life. I know wrestling
No.
isn't real, but he'd kill you.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need to be like even one of the biggest guys. It's the intensity. He just sweats it. He exudes it. He's the sort of guy who walks into a room and everybody goes, "I'm not happy with that guy." You know, it is. He's
And
so
he's not the
goddamn
tallest
good.
guy, but
No.
if his persona is 8 feet tall.
Yeah, I'd rather fight a big guy than a crazy guy.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
craisy is scarier than big every
Yeah.
single day, every single time. I don't care if you're 3 foot. If you've got a bit of crazy in you, I ain't going near you. You know, you can chop down a tree, but a snake will bite you in the ankle and kill you. But do you like that? I just off the top of my fevered head because I'm not very well. But yeah, and Mike is saying Dragunov will end Gunther. He's the real champion. Like, my God. That has to happen in the main roster, doesn't it? See, I'm of the view that I don't think it's going to be Dragunov who's the one who topples Gunther. I think that'll happen before Dragunov gets there. Maybe at Mania, maybe a big pay-per-view. But yes, they are on a collision course, 100%. I think they should do their own thing for a bit, but one day, I think that's a Mania match waiting to happen. We need to see it. And just to tangentialize, did anybody ever watch Dragunov's matches in Progress Wrestling with what's he called? The Black Swan there. Cara Noir. That was it. Like, they were phenomenal matches. Like, they were in awe of each other, but they had to, it was almost psychosexual what happened between them, because there's a moment where Dragunov kisses Cara and then just goes bang like that with his elbow, and it's just, it was really like they were enamored with each other, but at the same time they had to see who was the better warrior. And it's such like if you watch any series of matches, and you buy Progress Wrestling's Plus for a month or whatever it is, go and watch those, because not only is it great wrestling, it's great ring psychology, and they've actually done something similar in Impact at the moment with Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly. Something a little bit similar, different but similar. But anyway, over to you, Dan. What did you think?
Yeah, I think having a new NXT champion, it's going to create a different dynamic, because Ilya is more of the heel out of the two, but he's still beloved by the fans.
See, I've interpreted this as babyface versus babyface,
Yeah.
but one is a reformed heel who's working to be a better person, and now that is completely thrown into disarray by his former henchman now being a champion and him not.
Yeah.
But I do think now they're really going to lean into Dragunov as a face, as the top face of the company, and I think we're going to see a series of dream matches, probably all the way up to Mania. But they might call him up. That's just me. Spitball.
If we're looking at sort of timing on this, Dragunov holding the title until probably Mania weekend, and then coming up Raw after Mania, we hope. Confront Gunther.
That could be good. See, now that could work if Roman Reigns is indeed losing his championship to Cody at Mania. Ending Gunther's reign there as well might be a little bit like a bit too much. So if Gunther retains at Mania, presuming he's still holding it, then that's really good booking. That'd be really like if like that's what I thought they were going to do a Bron Breakker last year.
This year.
But this year. Sorry, of course.
Still this year.
Long ago. It always feels like post Mania. It's a new year. It always feels like that. Jonathan Coachman even once said it as well, like on air, and I was like, oh, fucking hell. I mean, bloody hell, Coachman. You saw nothing, YouTube. But say that Anthony gets away with it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens after the video. But yeah. I think so. I think cut a long story short, because I know I'm rambling, but yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So main event time, we had the NXT Women's Championship in, I think it was an Extreme Rules match.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Becky Lynch as the NXT Women's Champion versus Tiffany Stratton. And again, how did you find that one?
I think Tiffany Stratton was the MVP of this entire pay-per-view, personally.
Yes.
Not only does she look $1 million, and she gets a bit of criticism for being a dolly bird, like the Divas era. No, sorry, that's a fighter. She was absolutely, like, some of the bumps she took in that match. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Some of those swantons, and then face first into the chairs. That was a fight. That was a violent match. Not because of the Extreme Rules stuff, just because of some of the bumps, just some of the moves she did. It was phenomenal. I can't wait to watch it again. Tiffany was robbed.
Yeah.
Like, she's completely out of title contention now because she lost the rematch. I know they don't do automatic rematch clauses anymore, but come on, we all know what that means. What a match. Becky Lynch is a star. But I actually think I agree with Bully Ray. I don't think this is actually to Tiffany Stratton's detriment at all.
Not even slightly.
I honestly believe Tiffany Stratton is now in the stratosphere as a result of this feud. And I can't wait to see what she does next. I can't wait to see the temper tantrum she has on NXT and what she says and who she feuds with. She's an absolute star. Just like Becky Lynch is like Daniel Bryan or someone like that. We just know they're going to be brilliant. But Tiffany Stratton is someone I'm really excited about. And I love how she's changing perceptions, that the really, really beautiful girls are just there to look pretty and cut promos. I love how she's actually backs it up in the ring every damn time.
Yeah. And again, I could put her on the main roster and she wouldn't look out of place.
Hell no.
And that is what I think. I mean, I'm sure I'm covering Raw tomorrow night, but I just think that you could bring her up tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw and put her straight into a storyline with anyone, and it would make her feel top of the card because she's that good. And the promos have been absolutely fantastic as well. It's not very often you get someone who's so good on the promos straight away, and can back it up in the ring. But I reckon if you put Tiffany Stratton on the main roster tomorrow night, she would be able to do it, not a problem.
Yeah, I think if anybody is still on the fence about Tiffany Stratton, get your finger out your derriere, because it's she's just superb. I can't wait to see what she does. I love her music is a banger as well. I was listening to it in the gym the other day. It made me just go, maybe just proper go for it. Wrestling music in the gym, by the way, guys, is the secret, is the absolute secret to a good session. Listen to Brock Lesnar's theme, and you'll bench 10 times your own weight. I promise you. It's so good. But yeah, what a match! I can't wait to watch both of those main events again. They were that good. And I'm quite harsh to NXT sometimes. But I'd love to know what you think, Dan. I'd love to know more about what you think.
Yeah, I mean, the NXT show itself, like I think it was Mark that said earlier on, it was just banger after banger after banger.
Yeah.
There's sort of a couple of people saying that both main events should be 5-star matches.
But does that mean anything anymore?
I don't think it does to the wrestling purist, but people have got this funny thing with Meltzer's ratings where they won't watch anything unless it's a 5-star. Well,
don't get me wrong. I've got no beef with Meltzer. I'm a wrestling journalist. Yeah. Part of the reason why is probably because of him. I don't want to use the word bias, but I do think he kind of leans quite favourably towards the guys he likes the most and the styles he likes the most. But that's, again, journalism is practiced by human beings, and I'm of the view.
Known to error.
Yeah, and we're all prone to bias by our own frames. Like I do think every journalist, including me, should strive for impartiality. But you're never going to get 100% impartiality, because every single human being, until journalism is done by robots, covert bias, which is what we call it in the industry, is always going to seep in, even if it's just a little bit. You show me any article, any news article ever written by anyone ever, and I will show you some covert bias in it. It's that simple. if we now apply that to Meltzer, everything he's doing in good faith. But every now and then I'm like, really, Dave, really? And I listen to their podcast religiously. I also listen to Cornette's. So
you've got every bias available to you.
Yeah, I do. But I think it's good to be informed. Like, there's plenty of stuff Meltzer and Cornette both say, and I'll go, shut up. But then there's other things they say, and I'm like, yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, Meltzer does get a lot of criticism for the amount of 5 stars matches he's awarded to WWE. And some of them, you do look back at it now, and you can agree with. CM Punk versus Senior, obvious. There's no way it shouldn't be a 5-star match.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25. How was that not a 5-star match? It was probably one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history.
And do you know what I always come back to? Right, I always come back to Flair versus Steamboat. That didn't get 5 stars. So when I see a 5-star match, when it gets 5 stars, a lot of the time I go, yeah, 100%, definitely. I do that a lot because I'm kind and I love wrestling and I love the people involved and I want them all to succeed and I'm really happy for them when they get a 4-star or a 5-star match, regardless of who they are. But sometimes I'm like, right, that was better than Flair versus Steamboat, was it? And when I come back to that, it drags me back to reality. But then to criticize my own points, you can't necessarily compare that to that. For example, when I got a lot of hate on social media and a couple of death threats when I gave Elden Ring 9.5 out of 10 for Deserto, and I stand by that. It is 9.5 out of 10. It's near perfect, but not quite. It's because there's yes, you can get a 10 out of 10 game. It doesn't mean it's perfect. It just means it's 10 out of 10. But then again, I gave Pentiment, which is a small indie game, 5 out of 5 because we had switched our ranking
system.
How we do it. So Pentiment absolutely was a 5 out of 5. So people were saying, so hang on a minute, you think Pentiment's better than Elden Ring? No, of course I'm not saying that. You actually can't compare them. So if I then apply that same logic to when I think about Flair and Steamboat and Meltzer's rating, you've got to just take everything individually. Just because something's got 5 stars doesn't mean it's better than Flair and Steamboat. It just means in the current context of that match and the times, that is what it is. So I think that's the way I have to explain it to myself frequently and how I would explain it to somebody else. And Mark, that's a very funny comment, but I'm not going to display it on screen because we do actually have some friends over there that we see at events sometimes, and I don't want them to punch me next time I'm in a room, which will be probably in Coventry, although they'll probably be in Newcastle. Wink, wink.
Yes. So, shall we talk about that one now, or shall we save that one for a little bit later?
Up to you, my friend.
Okay. While we're talking about it, we'll do it now. So we are going to talk about Impact UK Invasion later on this month.
So exciting.
We've got October 26th in Glasgow, 27th in Newcastle, and 28th in Coventry.
Oh, Dan, there's actually another one. There's actually a second Coventry show now on the 29th.
Okay.
By popular demand. So
not surprised.
Yeah, 2 shows in Coventry now.
Okay. This is your territory. I'll let you dive head first into this. You tell me what you're excited for.
I am a bit of an Impact fanboy. And a shout out to Impact Wrestling for giving WrestleSphere your faith and letting us interview your guys. I know obviously we chat to WWE, AEW, and everybody else, but Impact took a shine to us, liked us, and let us interview a lot of their guys, and they still do. We interview about an Impact wrestler every 2 weeks on average. So, we love to support the industry as best as we can, and it's great that they support independent wrestling journalism because it means we can all support each other even when they don't like what we say, or the wrestling companies don't like what we say, because we're being as honest and as objective as we can. This is a big deal. Obviously, WWE have come over, AEW have come over. It now makes sense for Impact, formerly known as TNA, who are I'd say, if some people dispute this, but I 100% look at the money. Impact are the third company. Yes, they're not as big as New Japan, but New Japan you can't really compare the Mexican and Japanese promotions to the Western promotions. So with the Western promotions, Impact is number 3 and a solid number 3 with nobody else even getting close to them. Like, you've got Ring of Honor, of course, but they're now under the Tony Khan banner, if not the AEW banner. So it's hard to kind of count them. So yeah, this is a big deal. UK is eating very, very well this year in terms of live wrestling. I think the Newcastle show isn't going to be a pay-per-view, as a lot of people seem to think it is. It's going to be one of the monthly specials, Turning Point. So it's not like the Bound for Glory is happening a few days before. There's our Joe Hendry interview. I think Dan has put up there. Thank you for that.
Yep.
That's one of mine. That the Ilya Dragunov one is one of Andy Spore's. Both, please watch both of them. It'd be great if you did. Glasgow will be great for someone like Joe Hendry because he's going back to Scotland. He's going to be over as hell in that room. Newcastle will be great because it's What Culture, Wrestle Talk, and I know the others, Cultaholics, Stomping Ground. So we've kind of strategically gone for Coventry. So we can be one of the like premier news outlets. So that'll be nice. And I promised my wife a spa weekend while I do all my press. So that'd be cool. But yeah, I'm really excited. They've released they haven't released any matches as of yet because we're still waiting for we're still waiting for Bound for Glory and what happens there. But they've pretty much got the whole roster going. It's going to be. I'm very excited for it. Like, none of there's the Steve Macklin interview. That was amazing. That was a fascinating guy. He had a load of military medals, by the way, behind his head, and I commented on the things behind him. But I actually noticed his Captain America post before his military medals, so that says a little bit about me. That being such a geek, but he was a lovely guy. Interviewed Trinity, actually, who's the champion, formerly Naomi from WWE. I think that's all there is to say, really. I mean, it's a very exciting time. I'll be at Coventry on the 28th. I'll probably be coming home on the 29th and not staying for the second show. But I'll be live tweeting it for WrestleSphere. Might even do some stuff for Hull. We'll see what happens, but we'll be doing some content for it. Great time, great exciting time. Thank you, Dan, for plugging all my interviews. That's another one of mine.
You're okay. Yeah. We've got the Trinity Fatto, Steve Macklin, and Joe Hendry interviews in the comments from WrestleSphere. So if you do want, you can go check them out. There is others on there as well. We've got Moose. We've got Gail Kim, Alex Shelley on the interview scene as well.
Yes. Andy did one with Sammy Callahan. I know he's currently left the company, but that is so funny, by the way. That is real because Callahan is in character the whole time and just eviscerates Andy at the start. And it's really funny. Poor Andy was like, I have to recover from this. I have to but he's a pro. It's why we brought him in. The man knows what he's doing. Out of every wrestling journalist, he was our first choice to turn it into a triumvirate. And Dan, thank you for all the work you do as well with WrestleSphere, making our images and being our tech support, because me, Dom, and Andy have no idea what we're doing with that stuff. So thank you so much.
If you do want, there is also people like Eddie Edwards, Speedball Mike Bailey, Diana Perrazzo as well. So there is a good range of interviews from WrestleSphere for Impact. If you did want to check them out, if you are in the UK and you're going to watch the shows, get a bit of background on your performers.
Yeah. Oh, and also we've I can't say too much, but we've got some cool plans on the horizon for WWE and AEW. Like, we are talking to both companies, and we're really excited by some of the stuff they've said to us. And to think we only launched WrestleSphere in January, so it's really exceeded where we thought we'd be by this point.
Yeah,
and a lot of that, mate, and a lot of that is actually because of Gimme a Hull as well. Like, the Gimme a Hull community got behind it and gave us our foundation. And I think, if without this podcast and the support of you and Anthony and a bunch of others like Jack and everyone else, we wouldn't be where we are. So it's what a community and what a great time to be a fan of wrestling.
I love them.
in the UK, especially. Yeah.
Yeah, Hulkamaniacs have done wonders for sort of a lot of people. Andy on Wrestling Royalty. A lot of people get behind his sort of videos now. He's been on here a few times.
Yes.
Eve, Right Girls of Wrestling, they've been great support for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we had them on last week. Dan and
Friday
his
night.
partner.
Friday night as well. Dan the Wizard popped in on Dan Reed, that is the owner of Eve,
Yeah.
popped on Friday and gave me a little bit of stick before off we went.
Always good fun.
It's okay. It's if you can't criticize reporters and podcast hosts, what's democracy coming to?
Exactly. So we've got probably about 25 minutes left. We've got a couple of things that we still need to get in there because we're aiming to sort of finish for just about 11, maybe quarter past if we have to. But we have got Ant coming back in a couple of hours' time, I think, because he will be covering Wrestle Dream by AEW, which is starting, I think, at 1 o'clock in the morning UK time, so in about 2.5 hours.
Don't let me forget to tweet it, by the way, Dan, when we wrap up.
Okay. The thumbnail's already on Canva, ready to go.
Right, wicked. I shall nick that. In fact,
so there is a lot of matches going on.
AEW. It's a good job I ain't got kids, Dan. I'd never see them.
I know. Just on the pre-show, there is 4 matches. And even on the pre-show matches, there is some good bloody stuff. Yeah. I'm just going to go through the pre-show matches to start with, and then you can tell me which one you like the sound of the most.
Yes, please.
Claudio Castagnoli versus Josh Barnett.
Oh, God.
Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Diamante, and Mercedes Martinez versus Satoshi Kojima, Keith Lee, Athena, and Billy Starks. Nick Wayne versus Luchasaurus. And then AEW Trios Championships, The Acclaimed and Darius Billy Gunn versus TMDK, which is Shane Haste, Mikey Nichols, and Bad Dude Tito.
Awesome. They were formerly known as the Mighty, by the way, guys, in NXT.
Okay.
Or one of them was Slapjack in Retribution. Shane was Slapjack, but let's forget that. Let's just forget.
But for 4 pre-show matches, that is an unbelievable set of card.
Already. That if you saw that at an indie show, you'd fall over, wouldn't you? You'd be like, holy hell, that is crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. Really.
And I mean, having Josh Barnett from Bloodsport in it.
I only watch Josh Barnett wrestle like once a year at Bloodsport. So that's going to be sick. I'd love to see him go up against Shane Taylor. They'd absolutely murder each other. It'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be
a true Bloodsport.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Or Brock. Has he not wrestled Brock? Has he not wrestled Brock? He must have done.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Wow. What happened? Guys, got to do that before you retire. But anyway, I digress.
So from that, onto the main card, I'm going to work from my bottom all the way to the top. We have got a couple of slides for these matches, a couple that I've picked out. So we'll go through them ones in a second. But we've got Wheeler Yuta versus Ricky Starks, Will Ospreay, Takeshita, and Guevara versus Omega, Ibushi, and Jericho.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we've got a number 1 contenders fatal 4-way match. We know we said we don't like fatal 4-way tag team matches, but when you put the Young Bucks versus the Guns versus the Lucha Bros versus Orange Cassidy and Hook, would you change your mind on that?
No, I'm actually I'm quite open to that. I don't know if I'd be open to it any day of the week, but I'll bite. Because I do feel like we're getting a bit of pay-per-view bloat with AEW at the moment, but we were going to bring this up as a segment, guys, but they are now advancing to, I think it starts in 2024, to like WWE do, like 11 or 12 pay-per-views a year,
Monthly
like one a
pay-per-views.
month. Yeah. And that is on top of the Ring of Honor ones, by the
Yeah.
way. And word on the street is Ring of Honor is also increasing its pay-per-views as of next year, bringing back some of the older ones that we haven't seen yet. So on top of like Anniversary, Final Battle, Glory by Honor, Death Before Dishonor, all that stuff. So yeah, like we are going to get pay-per-view bloat next year unless they start differentiating Ring of Honor and AEW. I think that.
Yeah.
But again, I digress. Oh,
Yeah.
fun fact for everybody in the UK: before you rush to fight and spend 15 quid, which I'm probably still going to do because I hate ads, but they are airing Wrestle Dream on Thursday night on ITV4. So the ad breaks won't be interrupting the action; they're just extending the action to include ads. So if you were to, it's a obviously it happens tonight. You'd have to wait a few days to watch it, but if you're fine with that, watch it for free and just fast forward the ads. So there you go.
Great call there. Money saving tips as well.
Yeah. Just call me Sam Martin Lewis.
And then you've got the New Japan Strong and Ring of Honor World Champion Eddie Kingston versus Ring of Honor Pure Champion Katsuri Shibata. Again, banger.
Yeah. Now we've got to quickly mention the stip with that one though, Dan. Well, not the stip, but Eddie has put his Ring of Honor World Championship and his New Japan Strong Championship on the line, I believe. Yeah. So if he loses, then Shibata becomes a triple champion. And he's already the Ring of Honor Pure champ. So I worry for whoever wins that the Pure Championship might end up getting unified again with the world.
Yeah, it sounds like it, doesn't it?
I'm a bit worried because, again, I don't use that word bloat again, but they do have a lot of titles between AEW and Ring of Honor. So, but yeah, don't be surprised if they do that.
Yeah, definitely. You've got the TBS champion Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart. You've got the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion MJF going in a handicapped match and defending them titles against the Righteous.
Interesting.
Very. And then if you want to keep it interesting, you've got the AEW Tag Champions FTR going up against Aussie Open.
Yeah, like we've seen it before, haven't we? All four men are very good at what they do. I've never been a massive Aussie Open guy. Even back in the Rev Pro days and the indie circuit, I've never been a progressor. I've never been a huge Aussie Open fan, but they're certainly very, very good. Like Mark Davis needs to lose that tash. Jesus, like you pull it off, mate. He doesn't.
Well, man's not a tash; it's a full sort of good.
Yours is all inclusive.
Yeah,
but his is a bit like whiskers. So I don't mean to go in on Mark Davis here. He'd probably crush me like a bug.
Twig.
But I'm just my male grooming tips are second to none. So there you
go. With that as well, you have then got Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland.
Banger.
Yep.
Calling it banger. Calling it now. Swerve and Page both take some insane bumps. So
yes.
Bloody hell. Let's see what they do.
I'm going to quickly run through the sort of other two because we do have cards for these three matches.
Okay.
You've got, where's it gone? The meanest man on the planet, I think, the TNT champion Christian Cage, in a 2 out of 3 falls match against Darby Allin.
Yeah. Now I hope this is the end of the feud, but sounds great.
Yes. The rumor is that is actually going to be the main event match, so they may have something very interesting planned for that.
So Max isn't defending the big one.
No.
How very Roman Reigns. How very Roman Reigns of him.
And then dream match of all dream matches, Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Yeah. I had to change my boxers as soon as they announced that match.
That was a reference I just made. That was you all just saw
Yeah.
my cum face. There you go. And it's that quick as well. I'm just gonna put my jumper on, Dan, because I'm getting a bit shivery.
Yeah,
because
sure.
you don't know this, but I'm really maintaining because I really feel ill.
Yeah.
So I'm way more
We'll
bouncy than I look.
won't stick around too much longer than so you can get
It's all good,
yourself
mate.
to
No, it's
bed.
all good. It's all good. I've still got an entire beer to finish. I'm not wasting it.
So we've just got Mark. Perfect timing. If Christian versus Darby Allin main events, Edge, Adam Copeland, whatever he's going to be going by is showing up. That does make so much sense. And again, it's a match where you could have Edge, Adam come out, and it would make, if he sides with Darby and goes up against Christian Cage, that'd be such a good story, because it's like, I know that you're not this person, Christian. Come back over to the good side in a way. Bring him back. But could he side with Christian and go back as a heel? Do people want him to be a heel, do we think? I don't know. I think that's a very, very tough call on that match. And then Chris Leclerc's calling it Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale are joining House of Black.
Ooh, interesting. Or at least one of them. See, I love the idea of Sky Blue turning on Willow and doing it. That'd be cracking. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know about both of them because I think there's more drama in
With
one
only
of
one.
them. Yeah, smacking the other one. But love it. And
I
Callum,
think,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think I would like to see Willow join, because I think she could pull off a lot darker character a lot better than Sky Blue.
Maybe
because
yeah.
Only because if you're called Sky Blue, that's not a very heelish name. You'd have to have a name change for me.
Willow Nightingale actually sounds quite dark.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're right. Nightingale. Yeah. Weeping willows are sometimes associated with horror.
Yep.
Nightingale. Yeah. And Callum, just to address you, Mrs. My favorite wrestler is Bryan Danielson. Mate, he's certainly
Good
one of
call.
mine as well. That's
Good
that
call.
is a certainly. And I love your American Dragon logo. You've got the Bryan Danielson logo. You've got there at the Switch, mate. That is awesome. That's a great pick. I love it. And Chris is like Sky Blue. Chris's money's on Sky Blue. But you've taught me around. See, I think Sky Blue would be the shocker, but now you've they could make a proper goth out of Willow Nightingale, couldn't they?
Exactly. Yeah. What do you think for this match then? Do you reckon we're going to see Adam Copeland Edge turn up?
Yeah, because what else is he going to do? Just go home and be with his kids and live a fulfilled life with his loved ones? Boring. Yeah.
So, there's money to be made, so he's going to probably go and earn it. Tony Khan got out his blank check.
Yeah. I nearly said something naughty. But yeah, I think with Edge, he's got nothing else to prove. I feel like he's done everything he ever needed to do in WWE. I think, like Bryan Danielson, I think he's thinking to himself, I don't
matches.
Yeah, I don't need to do anything. I'm not bothered about the money particularly, but it would be fun just to go and see, just for a bit, what it's like over there. I got a second wind. I got a second chance at this. I'm not ready to call it yet, but there's another player in town. Let's just go and have a run and see what it's like. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think every major star in wrestling owes it to themselves to have a go at seeing what WWE is like and seeing what AEW is like. Because
if you'll get the opportunity, 100%.
Yeah. Now, again, there are some lifers to either one, and that's cool, like Roman Reigns with WWE more than likely. Let's be honest, Seth Rollins at this point. But I do think, like Jade Cargill, I've got really high hopes for in WWE. I think she was great in AEW, but I think this is going to be the making of her. And I'm quite excited when people jump ship. Like, look at Cody Rhodes. When he started AEW and you told me he was going back to WWE in a couple of years, I would have laughed in your face. But look how amazing it's been. They're positioning him as the next John Cena, not Roman. Like Roman they've decided Roman is better at being a bad guy. Like, they'll turn him face again, of course they will. But right now, the future belongs to Cody Rhodes, and that's just an incredible thing to consider.
Yeah, definitely. But
Ooh,
yeah, I
Mark.
mean, do you think you've got Edge, Christian Cage, Matt, and Jeff Hardy in a WhatsApp group chat, and they're all going, "Oh, it's so good over here. You want to come and join us? Stop being the
Yeah.
outcast."
And let's not forget they do that, guys. That like a lot of these people, like there's a lot of wrestling tribalism on social media where I only watch AEW, I only watch WWE, yeah. Hate all that.
Yeah.
Because I look, guys, I watch both religiously every week. Sometimes WWE is great, sometimes it's crap. Sometimes AEW is great, sometimes it's crap. When it's crap, I'll call it crap. When it's awesome, I'll call it awesome. But yeah, I watch both, and no one has knocked on my door and beat me up. It's not happened yet. I'm still waiting for. I'm still waiting for the man to excuse me. Pick a promotion. No one's beating me up for owning an Xbox and a PlayStation either. By the way, I get away with that. You know, I eat at Mackey's and Burger King. But yeah, my point is tribalism is stupid. You can do both, and wrestlers think tribalism is stupid because half the AEW locker room are mates for the WWE locker room. Some of them are married to each other.
Exactly.
And fun story in WrestleMania New Orleans, when the WWE,
34?
yes, 34, the most recent New Orleans, when the WWE guys, all hot and sweaty, all a bit tired, they walked off their coach into their hotel bar in New Orleans. The Impact locker room were at the bar, at least a good chunk of them. And do you know what they all did? They all went, "Way!" and all got drunk together, or at least had some fun together. True story. I knew people who were in the room. So
a lot of them started out doing the smaller shows together, and they constantly crossed paths, and it's like the only way that I can sort of think of describing it is it's like seeing your old schoolmates on a night out.
It's exactly like
and
that.
That's what it's like. You go, I ain't seen you in about 3 years. How are you doing? How's life? What you been up to?
Yeah.
How's your job?
Same in my job. Like we, for example, in video game and wrestling journalism, actually, I'm learning that it's the same in wrestling journalism. We are actually mates with a lot of our competitors.
Yeah,
like we are, because it's I've like worked with people at Deserto who might now work for one of our rivals. Doesn't mean we're not friends. Doesn't mean we don't talk about wrestling and gaming and play each other online and stuff. And we talk about like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, we actually compete. I might write a guide, they might write a guide, and we both want to be top on Google, but we're still friends. You know, like we don't talk shop. And speaking of this, Taylor's in the house.
Taylor.
You're right, dude. And your job, yeah. This is another one. And Callum.
So I was going to say, is Taylor sort of pointing the fact that you don't really work?
Oh, how dare you!
You'll call it a job.
How
but
dare
you'll just sit and play games all day.
Well, there's an element of that because sometimes there has to be. But hey, I'm the guy they gave a copy of Elden Ring to, and this is on my CV. Would you believe? I swear to God, it's on my CV. They said to me, "Right, here's a copy of Elden Ring. You've got 9 days, and you need to complete it for your review to be like basically be valid for us to go to Metacritic and do what we got to do. So I've got 9 days to beat this open world Souls game." And to be fair to work, they gave me the time to do it because it's not just a game you can sit there, stick on easy mode and leisurely play through in a day or two. Like, you are going to get stuck. You are going to throw controllers. You are going to shout at your wife. You are going to strike your dog. You are going to do all these things. A few windows might be broken. But I did it. A lot of late nights, a lot of missed meals and missed gym sessions, but I did it. And like, so yes, is there an element of sitting around playing games sometimes? Yes, but don't think it ain't work. It's fun work. But I also enjoy writing about games and wrestling. That to me is work and fun, and that to me is the secret to happiness.
Yeah, if you enjoy your job, you never really work a day in your life.
Exactly, but you do. I love my job, and my God, do I work! But you're right, Dan. You're absolutely right. It's I never wake up in the morning and think, like, it's Monday morning tomorrow. I don't like count the days for Friday and the weekend or anything like that. And let's not forget, I usually finish with Deserto at 5 o'clock or a bit later if I've got stuff to do, and jump straight into WrestleFit stuff. So
yeah,
busy dude. Oh, thank you, mate.
So
Oh, come
What do you
on,
think?
Mark. No, I don't think so. I think it was always... I think Fight Forever was always going to be what it is. It was never going to be... AEW Fight Forever was never going to make your crush realise she's in love with you. It was never going to pay off your mortgage. It was never going to be this holy grail people thought it was going to be, just like AEW hasn't been. But I think it's just fine. It's an alternative, and I don't think it's a bad
done what it
game.
needs.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad at all. I don't think it's brilliant. It's not going to take me off Diablo 4 anytime soon, but I'm glad I've got it. I'm glad I've played it, and I'll play it again. And Hi, Sassy. Nice to see
How
you.
you doing, Sassy?
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And Sassy is saying hi to everyone. Says hi to Chris. Hi to King Mike. Hi to Mark. Hi to everyone.
So I picked out this match just because it's a match I'm really looking forward to. 3-on-3 trios match. It's going to be chaotic because of the performers involved, but you look at the quality of wrestler. You've got people who have been top of PWI at least a couple of times. You've got Will Ospreay, you've got Omega, I mean Ibushi, Jericho, Guevara, and Takeshita. That's a series lineup. You'll put any 6 of them into 3 separate one-on-one matches. You've got an amazing show already. But to put them all in one match, it's just going to ramp up the spots that they should be able to do.
I mean, you're right, because we've seen a lot of those singles matches. We've seen Omega versus Ibushi versus Ospreay and Takeshita and Jericho. They were all great. We've seen tag variants of it. And I love like Don Callis looks like a tiny little penis in between 2 balls, like Ospreay and Takeshita. He does look like a walking dick. No, I love Don Callis. I think he's fantastic at what he does. But I actually think he plays into it a little bit.
Oh, 100%. He's going to win, he?
I think he's well aware of his phallic appearance.
Yeah.
But anyway. Do you think Eddie Kingston is losing his titles? Do you know what, Callum? I'll be furious if he does. I'll really, really be mad. So I hope not. I really hope he doesn't. I think Shibata, he'll probably wants to go back to Japan at this point. I think his excursion is probably coming to an end. What a great way to put her over. I think Eddie Kingston's probably going to win that pure and is probably going to unify it with the World Championship. That's what I think.
Yes. I think that's the more likely sort of scenario.
I hope he wins and doesn't unify it. I hope he vacates it or then wrestled somebody in a pure match for it and maybe loses that one because he's the brawler guy. He's not the pure guy. Because I think he's going to win that and be like, the hell do I want this for? I ain't a pure dude. I do think he's going to do that.
I mean, I think if you're reading between the lines of what he said, because he said he's not going to be doing the indies anymore.
Yeah.
Could he unify it, but then relinquish the New Japan title and just be the absolute top guy in Ring of Honor as a standalone?
Well, I'd counter that with the current Ring of Honor champions haven't appeared on Ring of Honor yet. So I'm of the view that he can still, because of the connection between New Japan and AEW, he can probably hold that one, and he'll probably lose that particular belt on a AEW pay-per-view to a Ring of Honor star. No, to either a Ring of Honor or a New Japan star, or someone who's both. Mark is saying hot take: Wrestle Dream is just a Forbidden Door 2.0.
In a way,
there's. Oh, sorry guys, I've got really bad chest pain. I can see what you're saying, Mark. I think I heard the original pitch of Wrestle Dream was a Ring of Honor versus AEW versus New Japan. So like Forbidden Door plus Ring of Honor. I don't know if it's quite come out in the wash that way. But I could see a Wrestle Dream becoming not a WrestleMania, but almost a not a WrestleMania and All In, because we already have WrestleMania and All In, but almost becoming like a show where people mingle, and maybe they can get Impact involved in it one year, or some of the more like GCW or somebody involved. So yeah, I think so. I see what you mean.
Yeah,
I think it's more than that.
But then we've also the one that I did sort of really want to sort of have a quick chat about is Dream Match. They've tagged it as Dream Match. Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. is the New Japan World TV Champion as of right now as well.
Yeah. So this is what I mean. I don't think even if you hold a strong belt or a New Japan belt, it can exist. Like, again, there's a lot of bloody belts on AEW. That's why they kind of need to chill out with the New Japan ones and quietly push the Ring of Honor ones to Ring of Honor, which they said they were going to do about a year ago. But anyway, well, 6 months. Callum saying, I don't like Ray Phoenix as international champion. Well, it was never meant to happen, Callum. Mox got injured, so they had to quickly think on their feet. But no disrespect to Phoenix. Bless him, he's probably an interim champion. But I agree with Sassy. Let's give him a little bit of time. Let's have some awesome matches. He's a great wrestler, but I see what you mean about the star power. I think it does need to go on somebody with a little bit more charisma and gravitas. And it's hard sometimes to do that when you're a luchador. But anyway, sorry, back to the dream match. Yeah, back to Wrestle Dream. Yeah, it's a dream match. I've gushed all over this on Twitter. I've gushed all over this everywhere on streams. It's just been one long gush since it got announced, really.
Yes.
I'm still gushing.
I mean, it's a match when Danielson announced that he was going to be leaving WWE. It was, do I want to see him face Omega? Do I want to see him face Will Ospreay? Do I want to see him face Kota Ibushi? And the one that I kept going back to was Danielson's a technical guy. Who's the best technical guy outside of WWE? I always came back to Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And we've not really had a build for it. But I think technically they could still knock out a 5-star match without a story.
I think, yeah, like this is what's great, because sometimes wrestling needs a story. It does. Sometimes it really, really does. And that's the thing that keeps us invested.
Yeah.
But this time, I don't think it does. We just need to see who's the better man.
Yeah.
If this was UFC, if this was boxing, that is what this would be about. Yes, there are storylines in UFC and boxing that are usually organic and create themselves. And I think that's exactly what this is. Yes, wrestling isn't real. Yes, this is going to be a performance, not a real fight. But yeah, it's a dream match for so many people. And that brings me quite neatly down to Dan versus Sam.
Okay.
And we're not moving on, but I've got a question for you. And this will be an epic battle of the likes we've never seen. So Dan, yeah, you better
go for it.
Do you think this will be the match of the night?
Let me just have a quick look at the full card again.
Think.
Go
with your gut. Go with your gut. Is this going to be match of the night?
My gut does say yes.
So are you going with your gut?
I'm not going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with Christian Cage versus Darby Allin.
Do you know what, Dan? I think we're going to have to agree to disagree and politely agree to disagree and part as gentlemen.
Yeah. What would you say? What is yours going to be?
I think this absolutely is going to be a match of the night. But Bully, there you go. I told you it was going to be an epic clash for the ages. So, guys, like we do, I told you it was going to be a fight. We are bloodied after that. Wow, what a fight that was. So, if anyone wonders what I'm doing with this shtick, it's the point is, Dom and Ant think we should do Dan versus Sam, but the difference is we're both so agreeable and polite. Like, we just end up being agreeable and polite. There's no way, that's never going to happen.
We don't get aggressive with our argument.
No,
we're polite gentlemen.
Yeah, and so my point is, Dom versus Ant will always be the gimmick, but Dan versus Sam just can't happen. Just can't happen. No. I'm afraid. We could probably do Dan versus Dom and Sam versus Ant. I think we can get. Yeah. I think we could probably do that, but even then, it's not going to be the same because there's nothing more entertaining than Ant and Dom in a room and me throwing petrol on them and just
Yeah.
watching it.
I'm just sat staring the pot and throwing the odd comment in just to wind them both up.
Yep. Like when you kick a fire pit just to kind of like move the wood and
stoke
throw
it.
paraffin on it.
I think my heart is telling me Christian Cage and Darby Allin. My brain is telling me Danielson Sabre Jr. because it's going to be that technical, it's going to be that skilled. But because of the story and because of how much of a dick Christian Cage has been, I just want it to be that match.
Yeah, like I think you're right. I think from a spectacle point of view, it's got to be that. Yeah, because if Edge turns up, Darby Allin ends up killing him. Luchasaurus is already been, humbled by
Luchasaurus
Nick
may be extinct as a dinosaur.
Yeah, there's a meteorite in the shape of Nick Wayne coming his way.
Or Adam Cole.
Or Adam Cole, yeah. And this time even the Crocs don't survive. But
yes.
But yeah, the mammals will rise. But anyway, I do think from a wrestling point of view, this is the baby. This is the this is the boy. This is the one. I do think this will be the match that Meltzer ends up absolutely jacking off over and giving six buckets of two instead of stars. And I'm going to take issue with that actually, Taylor, because I get that, I like it, but see, I'd always call it Diva Dom versus antagonistic. So that's what I go with. I think that's just a play on Ant and Diva Dom. Their alter egos. Diva Dom is we haven't seen Diva Dom for a while, but we'll have to bring it back. I don't mean Dom. I mean his. It's like Hollywood. You've got Hollywood Dan, don't you? Hollywood Dan, Diva Dom. I don't think I've got an alter ego yet, but
we'll put one together for you.
There's Angry Sam. He's come out a few times. Ranty Sam. He's come out a few times.
Yeah.
But he mostly comes out on Wrestling Royalty. More than Give Me a Hole here. But anyway, there you go. Reason to watch the other podcast. Go ahead. Sinister Sam. Yeah.
Sinister Sam. That's nice. I like that one.
Serious Sam. But that's taken. It was Sexy Sam. Once sassy. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. It was one of the very first SmackDowns you did. I think I was here. Just sort of helping you sort of go into doing most of it on your own.
Yes.
Saucy Sam.
That's what got me the job. That's the only thing that got me the job. My cheekbones.
So, last bit that we're going to do, we're not going to make this one too long because it's one person. We know that they've signed with WWE now, but I'd just like to get your opinion, Sam, on whether you think Jade will come straight up to the main roster after spending a bit of time in developmental at the Performance Center, or would she go into NXT? And how would you be booking her to come into the shows?
So this is a tough one. This high win, lose, or we still booze. I choose booze every time. Look at you, your caffeine-free Coke. Love it. Thank you, Sassy. I'll answer the question now. Sassy's pussing me over. So I think she should have a run in NXT, just a brief one. Maybe come out at Royal Rumble and gauge fan reception, and then maybe confront someone at WrestleMania. That's what I would like. But I think they're just going to throw her on SmackDown. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think that with the persona that she's got that we've seen in AEW and the way that WWE are announcing everything beforehand, which is quite rare for WWE to announce a signing on this magnitude for someone, I do think she could go straight into a title feud.
I think they have to give her something other than a paycheck to make this worthwhile. So they will do something big, something, building to a big pay-per-view like Survivor Series perhaps, or whatever it might be. But I kind of think they hold their nerve. I kind of hope that they do, and they just say to her, right, you got to go and do this first. But that's just wishful thinking on my part. Fine with her being in the Royal Rumble and coming out of Mania, but I would just give her just a bit of time, just a few months in NXT. But they're probably thinking it's not even worth it if they're doing that. I don't know.
So,
'Cause
as a sort of quick top of my head, throwing it together for you, spends the next couple of months in the development performance center, just learning the WWE way, couple of promo practices, comes out, wins the Royal Rumble. Is that pushing too far straight away, do you think? Or is that giving her enough time in the performance center just to fine tune a little bit? Because in my mind, they are booking her, or they will book her as the replacement for Sasha Banks. That's how I think they're going to see her.
I never thought of it that way. I never thought of it that way. Like Taylor, to be fair, mate, if she is coming out of Fastlane, then yeah, they're totally skipping NXT, 100%.
Yeah.
But if she doesn't come out of Fastlane, then yeah, maybe she's got green hair. Is that why they took Shotzi's off her? Other than the obvious. So I don't like the idea of her winning the Royal Rumble. I like the idea of her being the Iron Woman and then losing out to the actual winner, and maybe that making a Mania feud potentially, or like not necessarily for the title, but for her to really get her teeth into a good story. I think that's more important than the title run. She's definitely destined for title picture and greatness and stuff like that, but again, I would preach softly before they just jump into the big stuff. But again, that's just me. They're probably not going to do that. I think Vince is just like, she's still missing a little bit of polish as well. She's a star. She's got the star power down. She exudes it. But and she's one of the most improved wrestlers in the ring ever. I genuinely believe that. And if I didn't, you'd know about it. And I kind of like her promos as well. I think she's totally a star, but she'd really benefit from NXT. NXT would just be the final touches she needs for me.
Yeah. Like I said, I think for me, because they've announced that she's signed with WWE and it's a big deal, I think that they are going to completely skip NXT. And I think that's from a WWE perspective, they want to see a return straight away. So if they put her straight on the main roster in a big feud, that is going to generate clickbait, which is where a lot of the revenue comes from these days for a lot of these companies. That is going to be their way of recouping some of the paycheck that she's going to get. And to do it quickly, would you not have her win the Royal Rumble? That's going to generate a lot of clicks. You're showing that you are supporting, you are backing her, you want to push her to the moon. If you want to push her to the moon, debut at the Royal Rumble and win it. No one's ever done it before.
Communicate to the AEW locker room, like, look what happens over here. That would do that. I have to agree. Sorry, guys, I've got really bad chest pain. It's kicking my ass. I'm really sorry. If you wonder why I keep wincing, it's that. Anyway, Taylor says, who knows what's happening? Vince is going to face her in a one-on-one. Jade needs to build her wrestling skills and be challenged by talent for the main card. Too green and not just the hair and eyebrows. I mean, I'm of the...
Like I said, I agree with all of that. I just think that WWE want the return straight away. Look at what they did with AJ Styles. They know how good he was. But Jade obviously doesn't have that pedigree yet.
Exactly. She's no AJ Styles. No disrespect to Jade Cargill. She's not on the level of AJ yet. Like, AJ going to NXT would have been a bit of an insult to AJ because he was
100%. Yeah,
he was Mr. But I think he's the exception to the rule. There's been a couple of others, I think, but he's the main one, mate. Norma saying give her a few squash matches on the main roster and then throw her at Rhea. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I think if you put her in the Rumble, you don't have to have her do a great deal to win the match. But between Mania, Royal Rumble and Mania, that's where you could have a couple of squash matches just to show I am going to be this dominant force. And that's when you've got the match against Rhea set up because of the Royal Rumble. I mean, Ant's sort of sticking his nose in. Mako, Satomura, and Becky.
When was the
can
last
learn
time
from
we
them.
saw Mako Satomura, though? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
People are not going to remember who she is.
I can tell out there you don't watch NXT that often. We haven't seen her. Like, when we see her, it's a big deal, but it's only a big deal if you're already into Japanese wrestling. Yeah. If you're not, if you didn't watch NXT UK, you've not watched the indie scenes, and you've not watched Stardom and Women of Wrestling and things like that, or Dan Reeves promotion, you're just not going to know who she is. And that is a massive, massive portion of the American WWE audience. Like a lot of the people who watch AEW are a little bit more smarky and have a little bit more knowledge and understanding of the nuances of the business, and might loosely even follow New Japan. But, let's not pretend that represents the average wrestling fan. It just doesn't. So, but to answer your question, people she can learn from, I don't know if it's about the people she can learn from, because I actually think Jade Cargill, not from a star power point of view, but from a wrestling point of view, is on the same level as a bunch of the people in NXT. I don't see any difference personally. I think she's got a lot more star potential. But I think Tiffany Stratton to me is right now a bigger prospect. But I do think Cargill's going to go straight onto the main roster. Yeah, I hope she doesn't, but I can see them doing it.
Yeah.
I really hope you don't mind, Dan. I might have to love you and leave you because
well, this was the last segment, so if you want to give us a minute, we're pretty much done.
All right, mate. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just tick off the last few comments. We've got Wrestle Dream starting in not far away.
Is the pre-show at midnight?
I think so, but I don't know if Ant will be covering the full thing. But 6:30 EST. We've got Wrestle Dream covered by Ant, who is in chat. He's just said, "Hey up, sassy." So go check that one out, because as you've already heard us talk about, it's going to be a great show. There is a lot of good matches on there.
Oh yeah, and if you're in the UK, you can cheekily watch it for
Thursday.
Free. Wait till Thursday and watch it for free.
Yes.
Unless you want to watch it tonight or whatever.
Or if you can't stay away from the spoilers.
Yeah, that's gonna be my hard part. I'm not. I can't I work on Twitter a lot, so I can't flipping avoid that. I know. It's anyway. I could have done today.
Norma's throw up a good one. She could be a member of the Hurt Business as the female member.
Yeah. Now, are they officially the Hurt Business though, or are they something else? Are they Street Profits Hurt Business? I don't know.
Oh, Anthony's covering 0 hour from midnight, so in about 40 minutes he's going live on the channel.
I should think so, because it's an awesome pre-show. That is not a WWE. Like, we didn't do the pre-show for NXT earlier, but I didn't offer any correction because there was just one match on it. It lasted only a few minutes, and I don't think Blair Davenport is a massive star yet, and I don't even know who the other person is. So so there you go. But I agree. I think covering 0 hour is absolutely part of it.
Well worth it.
Yeah.
It's probably going to go until 6 in the morning, I'm afraid, but yeah. How many matches is there? So you've got 4 on the pre-show, then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 matches.
Bloody AEW. Saying that, I like that. I hate it when WWE gives us a 6-match card. It drives me insane. I think 8 at least every time for me. That's just me.
It depends. If you're going to have someone like Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr., you don't want a 15-minute match. You want a good 30-minute match.
I don't think every single belt should be defended, but I do think every single belt should be acknowledged on a pay-per-view.
Yes.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like MJF isn't defending his title, but he is defending the Ring of Honor belts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's probably going to come out with wearing the Triple B, but it's not the prominent title for that show.
Yeah.
Makes sense. There's logic behind everything, which is what we want.
100%. 100%.
So Anthony's really interested in the mixed gender tag match.
I think me too.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be some... I reckon with it being outside of WWE, we may get a bit of male and female moves thrown together, which is going to be something that we don't see very often.
I think you're right. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do the I've got to get out because you're in thing like WWE do. I think they'll do they're not going to necessarily go full into gender, but I do think there'll be a bit more overlap and not the awkward. Oh, I have to leave now. I think they will. Which at this moment in time, with that still being a controversial topic, I actually think that's the right move. I think that's the way to do it personally. That's just me. I know there's a lot of opinions out there. That's just mine. And I've been wrong before. My mine isn't the only one. So yeah.
I mean, it's been a fun Hell Yeah Hangout because it's been different people this time. It's been me and Sam, which is cool. We'll probably be back next week with myself and Anthony, and we'll probably be doing the best tattoos in wrestling. We did worst tattoos last week, so if you want to go check that out, that is live on the channel. It's great fun because we have got Dan Reed and his partner from Eve Wright Girls of Wrestling. And he doesn't hold back. He does say some tattoos are quite bad, which is quite fun.
Shocker. Who saw that coming? That coming?
So this will be getting split up into a few different segments. We'll have the Impact stuff, we'll have the NXT stuff, we'll probably have the unboxing separate as well, and we'll have the Wrestle Dream stuff as a separate video as well. So later on in the week, they will be coming up as separate clips, so go check them out. You've got the interviews from Impact and WrestleSphere in the chat as well, so you can always watch them while you're waiting for Ant to start on WrestleSphere.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Wrestle Dream, sorry, not
WrestleSphere. Yeah, WrestleSphere is where you can watch the interviews. Either watch them on the website or watch them on our YouTube channel. And if you want to throw WrestleSphere and give me a whole a cheeky like and subscribe, greatly appreciated. Every single person who does that, don't think we don't see and acknowledge. So just saying, we do. We acknowledge our tribal chiefs. Anthony, let us know, mate, when you've watched Sam versus Dan, because it was a savage fight, mate. It was brutal. It was. I don't know. That's why I'm in so much pain now. I would have won if it wasn't for this pain. But I went in with a handicap. I'm like MJF. I'm our scumbag.
You said it best.
Oh, Sam did not do dinner. Went out and bought some oxtail stew with cabbage and plantain. See, that is the sort of thing like my grandma would make that, a similar stew to that, but she'd do it with chicken, and it was so yummy. Oh, I miss it.
Yeah.
Bless her, she got to her 90s, my grandma, and her stew kind of went downhill when she hit her mid-80s. Bless her. But I have some fond memories of eating a stew like that. But anyway, there you go.
But yeah, so I mean, like I said, you've got plenty of content there to consume. I think, be back for Monday Night Raw, but I will send a tweet out tomorrow at some point. All depends on my rota at work. But I think that's it. You got anything else to add, Sam?
I'm in a lot of pain. Other than that, thank you for joining us. It's been awesome. Oh, no, mate, cinnamon rolls. Oh my God, Sassy, I need food now. I was going to go straight to bed, but that's not me.
That's exactly where I'm going.
Yeah,
straight to my fridge.
Yeah, I think I might too. I might go straight to your fridge and then your bed.
Yeah, there's loads in it. But yeah,
will you stop?
Already...
Sorry, Dan.
If you haven't already, do share the video, like and subscribe to the channel. It does help us out. And if you do want to, you can give us a little donation through a couple of channels. Whether you do purchase anything from our website, the link is in the description, so you can get some awesome Gimme a Whole Yeah merch. But oh yeah, exactly. I think that's been good to your head.
Yeah, it doesn't go
on stream anyway.
Yeah, and in LA, it only came out. Actually, yes. I don't think I took it. I actually fell asleep wearing it after Money in the Bank at one point. And Dom thought it was so funny. He took a picture and put it on social media of me just like lying in bed, like just to give me a whole merch. It was quite funny. It was good. It's still on there, I believe. But there you go.
But yeah, thank you very much for who has joined us. And again, like I said, like, share, subscribe. It does help us out. And we shall see you soon.
Hello, yes, Dan Hansen here. Very nice, very evil. Thanks you for watching the Gimme a Whole Yeah podcast. And I hope everyone in Yorkshire and beyond is having a great day housing. Yes, enjoy it and love that Danhausen.